1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The word 13 and seconds is using the same paragraph. Maggie gets very angry.
Kicker's missing 46-yarders. It happens. Gets a
is that Scott Norwood? Oh. Can I ask a Bills question?
Sure.
Would you rather lose that way than Norwood miss field goal or lose 52-17 to the Cowboys? Which is the preferable way to go down?
Thank you.
I'm genuinely curious.
I'm sure you are genuinely curious.
Because I remember when my Eagles played
for a decade, and you waited till right now to ask me that question.
Well, I just thinking back to the Eagles Patriots, I didn't get to experience that, so I want to know what it's like as a fan.
I mean, Eagles Patriots the first time. What's it like when your quarterback pukes in the huddle? Yeah. What is that like? Perloff got me better.
No, I know, but it still stopped me in my tracks. Trying to come back. I'm about to cry.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? We made it to Friday. You did it. Big inhale, big exhale. It is Maggie and Perloff. Big plans for the weekend, Perloff? Because I know somebody who's got big plans to be touring the New York, New Jersey area. And that is Derek Carr, who's meeting with the Jets right now this weekend. He already met with the Saints. Mm-hmm. Now he's a free man. He's been released by the Raiders. He's meeting with the Jets. And if I'm New York, I do not let him out of the building. I know there's the stats. He doesn't play well in cold weather, but come on. You can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to emerge from his darkness retreat. If he ever emerges from that, he might be totally different. Who knows? You're going to wait to see if maybe Baltimore might want to possibly trade Lamar Jackson, which is going to cost you so many draft picks and so much money, along with Rodgers. If you have Derek Carr, who's just going to cost you money, and you're not even sure if Zach Wilson is ever going to be a thing ever again, you've got to just say, Derek, we want you and we want you bad for 3 years. And we're going to pay you top dollar for the next 3 years. Come and play for the Jets. Lock the door Bronx Tale style and say, now you can't leave.
Oof. I just know, if you're a Jets fan, you got to be like, really?
Do you know what they've been dealing with, those Jets fans, for the last 20 years? It hasn't been gangbusters.
Derek Carr had 24 touchdowns and 14 picks with Devontae Adams on his team last year. What do you think he's going to do in New York? Now, listen, we have a resident Raiders fan. There's just a lack of inspiration with Derek Carr. I think he's a good quarterback, and you do make a good point. I think it's going to be hard to get, especially Lamar. I think that's not going to happen. Maybe they have a shot at Rodgers. Carr, the way I understand what you're saying, Carr is a consolation prize for if you can't get the top notch. But are the Jets going anywhere with Derek Carr? I feel like Robert Saleh will have one more year, and then you're stuck with this huge contract. He's going to get paid.
But short. So you're not.
Well, why do you know that he's going to do short? Because why wouldn't one of the NFC South teams offer him 5 to 6 years?
Well, first of all, I don't even know 5 to 6. It's probably going to be 3 with like dummy years put onto it. All of this stuff is just like you're playing a shell game here with these contracts. But I'd offer him like solid. Like
I don't think he would take it even if you did.
You don't think he would take $40 million of the Jets' money?
Nope.
I bet he would.
I think he'd say, you know what? I could get that same money in Atlanta or New Orleans or maybe Tampa Bay. And I think he can. Unfortunately, that's the market. And I think he would do that.
Okay.
Because of who he is, I think he would go to the South for the same money. I don't think the Jets are going to outbid all those other teams. They're as desperate as the Jets are. And they have a bunch of receivers as well. Why not those teams?
Well, but because he's in New York right now.
Yeah.
Like, he went to New Orleans first because maybe they thought they could work out a trade or whatever that is, or maybe he did it as, I don't know, because he knows Dennis Allen. I have no idea. But he went to New Orleans first, and now the second place he's going is the Jets. We don't know if he's got all of these other weekends lined up, and the teams that you're talking about in terms of, like, Carolina and...
Yeah, Carolina, too.
Basically, Carolina...
Definitely Atlanta.
And Atlanta, they're picking high enough in the draft this year that it's not so inconceivable they would say, hey, we're picking 9. Are we really going to pay Derek Carr all this money? Or do we have enough time, leeway, whatever, where it's better for our timeline if I'm the Carolina Panthers, say, you know what, we're drafting a guy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's probably better. We're going to restart. We got Frank Reich here. We got all new things. We got a good defense that can help out a rookie quarterback. Like, the Jets are the team where they've told you 100 times they want a veteran. They're not being cagey about it. They're not doing this weird pre-draft smoke screen thing. They've told you from basically week 17 of last year, we need a veteran. Zach Wilson, go read a book, is literally what they said. Go read a book. That's basically telling you, get out of here. We need a veteran quarterback. I mean, I can't wait around for Rodgers and the what if.
If you're Carr, though, you certainly want to let a market develop, right? I mean, look what happened with Deshaun Watson and his crazy market with all those same teams.
Yeah, you might want to let a market develop, but if I'm the Jets, I'm saying no matter what, come to me last. Like the New York Yankees always do this, so Stu will know, big Yankee fan. The Yankees always say this to free agents. Go out there, see what else is on the market, but do not sign before you talk to us last. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's what I would say if I were the Jets. Do not sign. Or I try to say, you're not going to leave the building. I'm going to make you an offer that is so competitive, you're not going, or so amazing, you're not going to want to visit anywhere else.
I feel like you pay a premium. I mean, you're stuck with Derek Carr for a long time then. You're stuck with you're all in on Derek Carr, huge dead cap hit. That means you got no other second bite at the apple for a long, long time.
Listen, I'm on the hot seat anyway, so what does it matter? If I'm Joe Douglas, if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm thinking Woody Johnson, who owns the Jets, is just itching to make a coaching change at all times.
Let me ask you this. If you're Derek Carr, which team do you want to go to? Say it's the same money.
And who are my teams? New Orleans?
I'll give you the whole NFC South, the Jets, and the Titans.
Now, listen, the NFC South is appeling because I'm in the NFC South.
Yes.
I love the NFC South. I'm making the playoffs in the NFC South.
You either get to play in warm weather or in a dome.
Yeah. 2
domes and one really warm weather and it's Derek Carr. Derek Carr doesn't seem like a New York guy. We've talked about this. He seems like he's a little sensitive.
Gonna be honest, Brett Favre didn't seem like a New York guy, and I know he wasn't here for very long, but like there's nobody who's more southern and then Green Bay, Wisconsin. None of that equaled New York. And granted, it wasn't awesome when he was here.
He played in warm weather. I mean, he played in cold weather in Green Bay. But regardless, Derek Carr seems like a more natural personality fit for the South, doesn't he?
And he's from California. Weather. I don't know. I mean,
he's going to want to get to that easy division if the money is the same. Look at it. And you're right. Atlanta might draft a guy, but man, they got receivers. Tampa Bay's got receivers. I know the Jets have receivers too.
Yeah, the Jets have the offensive rookie of the year as a receiver.
I don't think that quite competes with the Drake London, Kyle Pitts team. I think they're all
okay. But the Jets also have what's the other great thing they have? Top 5 defense. Something Derek Carr has never been able to experience. The Raiders defense has always been a disappointment.
Carr, he's a quarterback. He wants big numbers. And I'm not sure the Jets. He's also going to look at the AFC and be like, why would I want to be here when I could be in this cakewalk of a division? You know who has the easiest schedule in the league next year?
Who?
Atlanta. You know who has the second easiest? New Orleans. You know who has the 5th hardest? New York Jets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, we've always talked about this. Why would Russell Wilson want to go to the AFC? Why AFC West?
Yeah.
Why would Aaron Rodgers want to go to the AFC?
As it turned out, that was accurate analysis.
But it also turns out these guys have egos and feel like they're so good it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure Derek Carr still has that ego.
Believe me, I'm sure he does.
I just think that he would be smarter maybe to not come to this pressure cooker. Because it's a really, really hard schedule. It's a really hard conference. It's a pretty hard division. I don't know where all these teams are going. I just think NFC South, man, it's easy. You win 8 games, you're in the playoffs.
You're right. Are we absolutely sure that those NFC South teams are also going to fall over themselves to pay Derek Carr?
Well, I think New Orleans would.
But
if they could figure it out. If they could figure it out. And I would assume, don't you have to assume Tampa Bay is going to at least explore?
Their cap situation stinks.
Yeah, they're going to cut a bunch of old guys.
Do you not remember when we had Bruce Arians on the show last week and he told us Kyle Trask?
Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. Like Washington said Sam Howell.
We did not question why Bruce Arians was wearing sunglasses during our interview. We were clearly indoors in a convention center. No one else was wearing sunglasses. I don't even think Deion Sanders was wearing sunglasses inside, but Bruce Arians was. Yeah, but we should have called him on that.
We know those teams are going to cut everybody and find money for if they really want Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I just think if I'm a quarterback, I want to play indoors. I think this is real, and I want to play in
Justin Fields
in the easiest division. Yeah, Justin Fields was deadly accurate with his take. If I'm Justin Fields, I'd beg to go to one of those teams. You're a quarterback. Derek Carr could put up huge numbers at any of those places.
But it's just the same reasons why it's appealing to Aaron Rodgers, and we're talking, of course Aaron Rodgers would want to come to the Jets. Of course he would. It's the same reasons for Carr. The top 5 defense, the good receivers. Like, we talk about it with Rodgers. I think the same thing applies. Now, we're seeing in the chat here as we are across the country on CBS Sports Radio. Hello, everybody. We love you. Also, we are streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. I'm seeing this from Rudy, from Lorenzo, is saying Jimmy G.
Oh, is it? I can't remember. The Jets one of the teams that likes Jimmy G. There's a lot of Jimmy G-ists out there.
Well, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator when Jimmy G was a 49er. Rudy saying he agrees, but Jimmy G, like Lamar Jackson, obviously injury prone, and that's scary. If you're going to sign Jimmy G, you need a really high-end backup. You really need someone who, because Jimmy's going to miss games, you have to basically count on that.
Yeah.
So is that Mike White? I don't know. He's also injury prone.
I would go with Carr over G for that very reason. I call him G. What's up, G?
JG.
I don't really think that Aaron Rodgers would definitely be interested in the Jets over other teams. Do we know that? What's better, the Jets or the Raiders?
We've talked about, does it make sense for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Jets?
It makes a lot of sense for both parties. But the Raiders, same issue, indoors. I don't know. If Aaron Rodgers, I think, might want to go to the Raiders and be in Vegas. It's not that easy. So that's the thing. Your logic makes perfect sense. I just think that Derek Carr is going to wait and try and create. Look at what happened with Deshaun Watson. He got overpaid by 200% because he had teams going against each other. Derek Carr would probably want that as well. I can't see him leaving this weekend from New Jersey with a deal.
Well, that's where Carr finds himself in a good spot, which he has a head start on everybody for, 2 months or a month, basically. Free agency starts in March. So he's got a month heads up. Yet, at the same time, what happens now? Coaches go on vacation? Absolutely not. Coaches go into draft mode now. And that's another thing where at least, agents or teams could try to play a little hardball here. Say, hey, we were interested in Derek, but to be honest, now we're doing our draft homework and, we actually really like insert name. We really like Anthony Richardson as a project. We really love Will Levis as a project. We love Hendon Hooker. I don't know. You could say anything and try to BS Derek Carr's people at that time and say, well, now we're not so sure if we want Derek. Now we're thinking maybe we want a rookie.
I don't think that's a dynamic, though. I think it's more, hey, Derek's people are basically, they're taking offers. So they're not going to get slow played. Basically, you're going to have to say, here, I'll give you $40 million a year, and someone else is going to have to say, I'll take 42, right? It's not a matter. Since it's free agency, you're not fooling anybody with draft talk. You're not trying to convince Derek Carr's people of anything. You're just competing against other teams.
No, but if you're like the Panthers or something, you could say, hey, maybe we're interested in Derek. We're interested in Derek, but only at this number, and we're perfectly fine going into the draft too.
So Derek's people just say, oh, that's great, and draft your quarterback because somebody else came in at a higher number.
Okay, but you're saying all the money in the world, he shouldn't go to the Jets. Like, he's going to have to make a decision here, and the Jets, I think, are going to try to blow him away. I do, because it's all fun to talk about Rodgers, and it's fun to talk about Lamar, but these are such big what-ifs where you have Carr literally in the building today.
God, I think Jets fans are going to be really depressed if they come away with Derek Carr.
Jets fans are depressed anyway.
Yeah,
this would be the best thing that ever happened to them. Are you crazy? They just had to sit through Zach Wilson this year.
I just think that the Jets have tried many things at quarterback, and it hasn't worked. Yeah, they didn't really sit through Zach Wilson. I mean, he was there sometimes.
Yeah, right. It was a pretty big flash in the pan.
I mean, is anybody picking the Jets to go to the Super Bowl with Derek Carr? Is there a single person who would pick that?
No, but is the bar for the Jets right now Super Bowl? The Jets are just trying to make the playoffs.
Within 3 years.
Okay, maybe within 3 years. The Jets haven't made the playoffs since 2010. They just let's walk before we can run here.
Stu, you know Derek Carr. Is Derek Carr ever leading the New York Jets to the Lombardi Trophy?
No, he's not.
Of course not. He's Derek Carr.
But we're grading on a curve here. How about Stu?
The Jets do not think like that.
Could Derek Carr lead the Jets to the divisional round?
That means he has to win one.
A playoff game on the road in probably cold weather. I'd say no.
Maybe he lucks out and they play in Miami or LA, the Chargers. Maybe. Good enough for me. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, what do you think? Derek Carr and the Jets? Ladies and gentlemen?
Ugh.
Perloff. I'm glad to see that you're not disgusted by this.
Derek Carr has got to go to a dome. If he knows what he's doing, he's just got to get somewhere warm. He'll be so much better. I wish I could talk to Derek Carr now saying, don't do New Jersey. There's nothing here for you.
RPC in the chat says, Rodgers may come out of the darkness and retire to become a full-time shaman. Not out of the realm. And that's why the Jets can't wait around to see what he's going to do. I don't think Rodgers is going to, come out of this and be a completely changed person. I think you're more likely to be totally changed off of the psychedelic drugs than you are off the deprivation therapy, right? What does more permanent damage? Or not permanent damage, I shouldn't say that. What does more permanent change? Like taking a really deep ayahuasca trip?
Yeah.
Or being in a dark cabin for 3 days?
This is definitely a question I cannot answer.
Well, I can't either. I'm speculating.
Let's just an experiment I'd like to do. We have a 5-minute break. Could you spend 5 minutes with your eyes closed, not talking to anybody, just sit there? 5 minutes. We don't have to do it this break.
I need to prep, but I will. Yes, I can do that for a break.
5 minutes. You can't talk. You can't move. You just have to sit there.
Only
silent.
if Connor keeps the YouTube stream live on us the whole time. You cannot put the slate up.
Will do.
Okay.
Because right now, neither of us have any experience either with ayahuasca or darkness, whatever that's called.
I once meditated for 8 minutes. It was torture.
I think that Rodgers, you're right. First of all, he did 2 ayahuasca. We didn't even know he had taken ayahuasca the offseason before, so who knows what this will have. I'd be surprised. He's not going to come out and say where he wants to go because Rodgers needs to keep in the news for 6 months, right? That's his thing.
That is his thing. 855-2.
No, it's not happening.
Wait, will you also sit in the break with your eyes closed?
No.
Wait, the lights are on, though. It's not even.
We'll turn them off. I'm going to be too busy filming you with your eyes closed. That sounds really creepy.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
I'm going to be busy lurking behind the desk with my camera.
Lurking. 855-212-4CBS. It's all right. You have my consent. 855-212-4227.
That'd be a great YouTube clip, by the way. Maggie sitting in darkness for 5 minutes. Just trust us. It's there.
She's in there. She's in there. Having deep thoughts about should Derek Carr sign with the
Actually,
Jets.
there's gigantic TV lights all over the studio. Do we know how to turn any of these off?
I think I could turn them off. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we want to do this at the next break? Not this break.
Whatever you're comfortable. It's all on you.
Oh, speaking of comfortable, it's Friday, which means the Advice Duck makes an appearance. You have the last chances to get your question-ins for the Advice Duck. Questions, conundrums, any kind of quagmires you might be in.
I think you might want to wear the Advice Duck costume during the darkness break. I don't know why. Just go all in.
It is comfortable. It's the most
like
comfortable
pajamas.
thing I own.
Yeah, it's kind of like pajamas.
Definitely. 855-212-4CBS. So we gave you a lot there. We're a little all over the place today. But Derek Carr and the Jets is what's the latest news in the NFL and the quarterback carousel that we're keeping such an eye on. I will sit in the darkness for 5 whole minutes at some point today in the duck suit. The duck suit's happening next hour.
You don't have to wear the duck suit.
Yeah, wait, we're getting.
That's a lot going on.
It's too much. We can't cross our bits. Yeah. The bit is the Advice Duck. The Advice Duck can't also be in the dark.
I don't think you can make it. I don't think you can do 5 minutes.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. All right. And I'll tell you what I was thinking about after my 5 minutes. Yeah? Okay. Coming up next, the one NFL coach who may be destined to fail. We've got that for you. The new NFL head coach, that is. So much to do. Hello to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Across the country on all of our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We are also on the free Odyssey app. And we are on Sirius XM, channel 158. Get on board. Derek Carr and the Jets. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let us know. It's Maggie and Perloff. We're back in a minute.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. So excited. Maggie's going to do a darkness deprivation tank for 5 minutes later in the show.
Wait, a tank?
I don't know. I don't know how these things work.
I don't want to get my hair wet.
Meanwhile, we're trying to figure out, is Derek Carr a great fit for the Jets? Give us a call, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I'm going to tell you right now the problem with Derek Carr coming to the Jets. It's
What's
simple. It's a matter of expectations.
Mm.
Now, I know what the Jets kind of are and what Derek Carr is. The problem is, I'm sorry, there is legit hype around this team. They have the Rookie of the Year on both sides of the ball. I think that they're going to put the expectations too high, just like your Josh Allen and the Bills. The expectations have been an anchor on that team, just like Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett in Denver. They were bad, but it gets so much worse when you bring in a guy like that, you spend all this money. Jets fans are going to want 11 or 12 wins, which puts a lot of pressure on them. And for some reason, my instinct is that's going to be really tough.
Okay, it's a great point, but I actually think the opposite. I think that would be the expectation if it's Rodgers. If it's Rodgers, it's
Rodgers,
like
Super
Bowl
or bust.
Crazy. Derek is just enough to be like, well, it's not Rodgers. I think the expectation would just be playoffs. To be honest, the expectation for the Jets this year is going to be playoffs anyway, I think, or everyone's getting fired.
Well, but if
no matter who's at quarterback.
If he gets over $40 million, then there's going to be pressure on him to make them really good.
Well, as you always say, though, when I mentioned Dak Prescott's contract, you're like, $40 million.
Well, Dak Prescott
that's the going rate.
Threw 4 touchdowns in a playoff game this year. I mean, at least he got to the divisional round. I don't necessarily see. I understand what you're saying. So you're right. It is the going rate, and you're probably right. Playoffs will be fine. But I get this feeling living in New York that there's bigger aspirations for this team. I think it's the Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson thing. I think they're thinking, that's why they're thinking of Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. I think they're looking for the one missing piece to be a Super Bowl team. Maybe that's just fans.
I think the fans are actually a little bit realistic. I know that's crazy to say. If you got Rodgers, you're not realistic. You're crazy. You're going nuts. You think that you're going to the Super Bowl.
But that's what they want. That's where their head is at right now.
They want to go to the playoffs.
No, I think they want Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, and they want to go all the way. I think that's what I mean. That's
every team wants that. You're hoping that your team wants. You're hoping that the owner and everyone is on the same page about Super Bowl. I think at first you just want playoffs, and you realize too. You're in the AFC, you got a lot of really good quarterbacks, but you have a good defense. Like, you should be a playoff team and not Super Bowl team, but maybe you grow into a Super Bowl team. I don't know.
I just think there's been too much Aaron Rodgers talk and then Lamar Jackson talk. Once you get that in your head as a fan, as good as Derek Carr is, I think they'll buy it, but I do think part of them is like, ooh, could we have won the Super Bowl this year with Aaron Rodgers? And hey, maybe Derek Carr, they completely take off. They do have a great defense.
Yeah.
If you had Derek Carr.
They got to back-to-back AFC championship games with Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, I know. This is such a tough division/conference, though.
It is.
That's really the challenge. And if I'm Carr's agent, I'm trying to convince one of those Southern teams to take me. Because, Maggie, you could win the NFC South. I mean, look at that division next year. Who are the quarterbacks?
I'm very confident I could win the NFC South. I think so.
I mean, we know you're 40. It was blazing.
I know. And
you're more
honestly,
of a running style quarterback.
It's the 3-cone drill where I really stand out, to be honest. My reflexes very
shuttle?
Quick. Shuttle, all of it. Everything but the bench press. I'm a Kevin Durant on the bench press.
Actually, I saw we were at an airport and you got on the shuttle really quickly. You have a fast shuttle time.
Oh, that's cute.
Atlanta Hartsfield. Yeah, you kill it.
There you go.
No, you understand my argument about getting to the NFC. I think that's relevant to Rodgers. I think it's relevant to Carr, and I think it could be relevant to Lamar Jackson, depending on what happens.
Agree on all counts. And speaking of the NFC, we did have basically the last 2 coaches were hired this week. And it was Shane Steichen goes to the AFC with the Colts, but Jonathan Gannon does stay in the NFC, where he was the Eagles defensive coordinator, and now he's the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, he was talking at his introductory press conference yesterday. And Connor, can we play a little of Jonathan Gannon talking up Kyler Murray?
I have a very specific vision of how I want to play on offense, and the person that comes in here to run the offense is going to understand that everything that we do will be structured around the quarterback position to maximize his skill set, and we have an elite one.
Okay. Elite skill set on Kyler Murray? Sure. I'll follow you there. I think there are things about Kyler Murray that do feel very elite. But is this elite buy-in from Kyler Murray? Is this going to be an elite leader for the Arizona Cardinals? I'm sorry. I cannot buy that. And I know people are saying, oh, Jonathan Gannon Perloff, he's this great communicator. He's, going to try to set a different culture. Guy's also on the defensive side of the ball. So who's really going to be the one who's going to be responsible for getting the most out of Kyler Murray? And to be honest, is that person being set up to fail? I just don't see how this is going to work with Jonathan Gannon. I really don't.
Oh, yeah. That team's terrible. They're going to be I think that they're going to be in the conversation for Caleb Williams next year, even with that money hanging over Kyler.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a take.
They're going to be terrible. Yeah. I mean, how many more years? I think it's 3 guaranteed years for Kyler. 3
guaranteed years.
So this will be the second one. Then they have one more on him, and who knows what's going to happen there. Gannon was not great for the Eagles. I
do not understand how a guy who just
all Eagles fans were annoyed with that guy, except for our buddy Elliot Shores Park, the Eagles reporter.
Yeah, who knows him well, to be fair.
We didn't understand how Gannon, against good quarterbacks, could sit back and let them carve up the Eagles defense so much. Then they got a lot of sacks this year, and he's a hot guy. This is an impossible task. I totally agree with you. How is Arizona going to climb out of this?
I don't see it. And listen, you can't base a guy off of just one game. But that one game was the Super Bowl. And that one game was a place where your defense that was supposedly elite got carved up. Now, listen, got carved up by, the greatest quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes, but got carved up in the second half. I mean, where were the adjustments? How do you allow your opponent to score on every possession in the second half?
So the other thing is the Cardinals roster is not solid right now. We all assume DeAndre Hopkins is out. Yeah. And J.J. Watt just retired. Did you see the quick thing about DeAndre Hopkins and about the clause in his contract?
No.
I think he had a no-trade clause that got null and voided once he got suspended for PEDs. Did I read that right? I got to double-check it.
And then also you have Hollywood Brown as your big receiving threat, but that guy is never consistently on the field. You have nothing. There's nothing to be excited about there. So even if
Kyler's hurt, he's going to
he's not going to be back till November. Right, and even if he was elite, maybe Caleb Williams is too early. Let's go into the class after that. It just feels like the Cardinals are headed towards a couple of really hard years. And who's the quarterback when Kyler's out? Do we even know? Is it Colt McCoy still?
It was Colt McCoy. I don't know who it's going to be this year.
Yeah, it's a bad situation. If you were Jonathan Gannon, would you have taken that job?
I think you take a job when the job opens.
Really?
Well, because you never know when you're going to be the hot coordinator again.
Like Byron Leftwich passed on the Jags, and
that might not have been the wisest move. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a really hard situation. I think they really, as an organization, need to sit back and really start over again.
Okay, on the flip side, who do you think is walking into the best situation in terms of coaches? I mean, I think the answer is obvious, but not obvious.
Well, Sean Payton be the obvious?
See, I don't think that's the obvious
one. Getting back to expectations,
Expectations massive, and if he doesn't end up getting along with Russell Wilson, at the end, Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson didn't see eye to eye. I mean, Pete Carroll probably has more in common with Sean Payton than anyone else.
Sure.
These are longtime coaches, but I just don't see that as a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I do not.
And then you're in the AFC West, but what are the other situations that are?
I think Frank Reich might be in a good situation. Now, I have no idea who his quarterback is. That's a big question mark. No clue who the quarterback's going to be. I just think you're coming in after Matt Rule, who was a massive disappointment. I think you're going to be better than him. I do think there are good bones and a solid maybe foundation going on in Carolina. And you're in that NFC South again, so you could be a playoff team. And I don't know. I think that one's probably the best, or maybe DeMeco Ryans. But Houston's going to be.
Well, Houston's got interesting
draft picks out the yin yang.
I don't think I would lean towards the quickest success. Who's the coach in Indianapolis again?
Your boy Shane Steichen.
Oh yeah, Steichen.
Who's their quarterback?
It doesn't matter. At least they have Jonathan Taylor. They could do something. Yeah, it's bad. That's why there's openings. But I do like Shane Steichen. I think he's going to be successful. I know Irsay is a lot to handle at owner, but you have a lot of, depending on who they can bring back, they have good bones. They have playoff bones. I don't know what happened this year.
Yeah, but I think the Jags are going to be good. So I don't think it's a given now that you can win that division.
Well, the Titans have won it every year
and the
forever.
Titans, I don't know what the Titans are.
No, the Titans are definitely on their way down.
Yeah.
I think that's a very competitive division, but I think there's a lot of talent because you'll get Shaq. You didn't have Shaq Leonard at all last year, basically. Right. You have Quentin Nelson, you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Michael Pittman Jr., and I think Shane Steichen is really good offensive coordinator. You're right. It's hard to evaluate now without a quarterback. I like Frank Reich as well. And I actually kind of like D'Amico Ryans. I think that's a very promising spot because he has no expectations.
Zero.
And they've been drafting really well under Nick Caserio. So he has a chance.
And that's what they have as draft picks. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Jeffrey in the chat also saying Trace McSorley, the backup.
Did we see Trace McSorley on a couple different teams last year? Wasn't he ball? So he was on Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're going to go with, knowing that Kyler could be out for also 8 weeks or something.
Jerry saying that I have my sleeves rolled up today, so I'm not messing around. Yeah. Do I look tougher today because my sleeves are rolled up? You look like you should
put a cigarette pack in there, like Matt Dillon and the Outsiders.
Oh, yeah. Like the Outsiders. I think John Travolta. I don't know who has a pack of cigarettes. That feels like no. I don't think any.
They put a vape pen.
Yeah, I don't think we do that anymore, right? It's a vape pen.
Oh, by the way,
it doesn't have the same look.
I was just looking who's going to play quarterback for the Cardinals next year. It's a little more exciting than I thought.
Do tell.
Gardner Minshew is going to go full Uncle Rico and head out to the desert, baby.
There you go.
Because he was with Gannon. Maybe you need somebody like that. Somebody.
Wait, why would the Eagles keep Gardner Minshew?
I have no idea. I think he's a free agent. Isn't he?
I know, but because every last penny is going to have to go to Jalen Hurts.
No, yeah, I don't know. I think
Hurts is going to get some major money. You realize
this,
right?
50. Oh my gosh, I totally realize that. But I think Minshew will be sought after because there's a lot of bridge situations. We were talking about the draft. A lot of those rookies might not be ready to start week one, so you need a guy like Gardner Minshew, who we met at the Super Bowl, by the way, and I think we really liked him in a brief encounter.
I think we hit it off in our brief encounter.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know. I've never been totally sold on the whole denim jeans and everything. It felt like a bit of an act. Yeah, it felt like a bit of an act, but he was really nice at media night.
Yeah, he's got the thing with Gardner Minshew, correct me if I'm wrong, is that he stands in the middle of the locker room with just a jock strap on and does like calisthenics or something. Isn't that, you know?
Googling it.
I have no idea.
That's the one you haven't heard of?
I have not heard that one.
I thought that's like Gardner Minshew's thing.
Like the
totally naked just for the jock strap.
Like the Red Sox used to do all that stuff?
I don't know about that.
Johnny Damon, Red Sox. Johnny Damon did that all the time.
Okay. I guess I think that's what he's kind of known for.
I like it. Rich quarterback.
It's an odd vibe for the.
Where did you hear this, by the way?
I thought I read it somewhere.
Okay.
That's quarterback level confidence. You need that kind of confidence to be a quarterback.
You know what? It really does send a message. And the message is, I'm a 100% weirdo.
No, I mean, you can't have a mustache like Gardner Minshew without confidence. To carry a mustache like that, you have to believe in yourself.
Sometimes
or jorts, either one.
The jorts. Sometimes I can't tell with a mustache like that, do you have uber confidence or do you have no confidence that
Fine
you
line.
need something on your face to like distract from, like a conversation starter?
I think in this day and age, you need guts to have a mustache like that. Think of the people you know with a mustache. They're usually pretty cool. Warren Sharp, the football writer. Nice guy.
Is that all we got?
Who else wears a mustache? I don't know.
Any other prominent media people with mustaches?
That's about it.
Keith.
Keith.
Who
doesn't like Keith Hernandez?
Keith shaved his this year. It was very, very disorienting.
Wait, Keith Hernandez doesn't have that famous mustache anymore?
He took it off this year, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back.
It has to. He just signed a new deal with SNY. I would write in the contract, Keith must have facial hair. And he has to dye it for Just for Men. Was I right or wrong on the jockstrap thing?
Yeah, it looks like you're right. Apparently in college, Gardner Minshew used to stretch in the locker room only wearing his jockstrap, and he brought that ritual to Jacksonville when he was with the Jags.
Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. What was the case? I don't know. Gardner Minshew's a weirdo.
I thought he was cool.
Right,
confident quarterback in Arizona, maybe.
And maybe he'll be the starting quarterback in Arizona while Kyler Murray heals up.
Could do worse.
Yeah,
although that feels like an Andy Dalton spot, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Dalton's got he's going to have options. Although his market is kind of getting crowded now by the Baker Mayfields and
Yeah, no, there's a whole level of bridge quarterbacks. You're right. Baker's got to find a spot, but it's kind of a raw draft class, so those guys will always find a spot.
Two-Ton Tony saying Maggie and her reading material. Yeah, it's weird what sticks. That visual of Gardner Minshew is definitely one I can't unsee. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, so am I going into the darkness right now? No, Ackerman's here. We'll do it next hour.
Yep.
Am I bringing a ray of light? Is that the implication?
Sunshine Act. That's what you are. I will descend into the darkness like Aaron Rodgers for 5 whole minutes, and when I emerge, I'll tell you where he's going to go. And also the meaning of life. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers descends out of the darkness.
As do we.
Yes. More Maggie and Perloff right after this.
Sports Flash.
Eric Bieniemy might be ready to step out of Andy Reid's shadow. The 53-year-old longtime KC assistant is reportedly in talks with the Commanders about becoming their offensive coordinator. Bieniemy has been in that role with the Chiefs since 2018 and is coming off a second Super Bowl. The Jets have said they'd have an interest in bringing in a veteran quarterback and are reportedly meeting with Derek Carr this weekend. The Packers have some challenges ahead, but took care of one easily today, reportedly working with Aaron Jones to keep the veteran running back in Green Bay at a lower rate. He'll get $5 million less, a total of $11 million, and a signing bonus of more than $8 million. The NBA takes a break this weekend and descends on Salt Lake City for All-Star Weekend. The Celebrity Game and the Rising Stars game tip off the night of festivities, and the break comes in an inopportune time for the Bucks, who ended the first half with their 12th straight win last night. The Dallas Stars have been the top team in the NHL's Western Conference for much of the season, and they're in Minnesota tonight looking to recover from back-to-back losses in a power play that's gone 1 for 20. The Rangers have had quite a turnaround after a slow start. They're currently the NHL's hottest team with a 6-game winning streak and are in Edmonton. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Today's guest, you can now call a Pro Football Hall of Famer. That's right, DeMarcus Ware joins the Zach Gelb Show, and it all gets started at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds. Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, get to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply check out the link, cbssportsradio.com/askthepros, or tweeting your question at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag AskThePros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your question. And, there are a lot of ways to get your questions answered on the Maggie and Perloff show. Later on, we'll have the Advice Duck, which is not Maggie. It's a different person altogether. Yeah. When you put that yellow suit on, your wisdom just goes through the roof. Yep. But we also, later in the show, have Maggie doing a 5-minute darkness deprivation tank. Yep. See what kind of wisdom she can get from that. So if you have any issues in life, I think today is your day to call us. Yeah, I'm going to descend into the darkness for an entire commercial break. And when I come back, I'll tell you where Aaron Rodgers is going to go. I can tell you what are we all doing on this planet. Yeah, I think we got to get existential. But I do have a serious question for you. Yes. What should Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, who is reportedly close to finishing a deal to become the Commanders offensive coordinator, I don't think you like this move. I don't like this move for him. Not for the Commanders. Yeah, they'd be lucky to get Eric Bieniemy. It's not about that. But I don't love this for him. Yes, it's been crazy that he seems to be getting passed over and passed over and passed over for these head coaching jobs. But I don't think you should have to resurrect the Commanders or have to go to a team that's synonymous with dysfunction, that has a coach that may or may not be on the hot seat, of a team that may or may not be sold in the next couple weeks. You have no idea. You have no quarterback or no clue who your quarterback is going to be. And no disrespect to Ron Rivera, who joined us last week on Radio Row, can't really buy Sam Howell is going to be your guy. And if it is, then I don't want to take it, because I don't think Sam Howell is going to be the long-term solution there. So what am I doing? It just feels like I actually don't know if there's a team that I would want to go to less than the Washington Commanders. Hell, I'd rather go to Houston. At least I got a high draft pick. I could mold a quarterback or something. I think that despite some nice skill position players in D.C.,
everything else about that job to me is a total no-go.
I think there's a lot of skill position players there. He could run an offense with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, a running back, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, a wide receiver. I heard a good analogy for him. I was looking at a list of Andy Reid acolytes.
Yeah.
Guys who coached for him. Mike Kafka with the Giants had a lot of success in the run game. So you can use an Andy Reid system to run. And
but do I have a running quarterback?
Well, Sam Howell can definitely run. I think he ran for 1,000 yards at UNC.
Okay, but that's college.
That's probably his best.
But that's college, not pro. And also,
that's his best trait.
But also, like, are we really truly going to the year with Sam Howell when we have all these other great skill position players and you're trying to make the playoffs?
It reminds me a little bit of Kyle Shanahan with Brock Purdy. If Eric Bieniemy really has all these skills that he learned at Kansas City, which I think he does, I think he could have some success with a guy like Sam Howell, who's going to run like crazy. He ran a little bit last year, too. He's fast. So imagine this scenario. What if he gets into Washington, plays kind of like a Giants season, and win some games there, and the offense looks respectable? I think he's going to be a hot commodity. Well, if he goes 9-8, I think he has his choice of jobs next year. But he has to take, Maggie, he has to take that kind of risk because he's not getting a job as is.
Okay, but here's the crazy thing about this, right? Somehow Matt Nagy got a job, and he was in the same situation, right, where it was under Andy Reid. So Doug Peterson got a job. I don't think it was because of Doug's backing up Brett Favre all those years. Doug Peterson got a job because of under Andy Reid. And that's why you look at the Eric Bieniemy thing, and it's hard not to say, oh, my gosh, this guy's like a victim of just straight up racism. It's really difficult. But like the idea that he would have to go to Washington and resurrect that, which has like that's going to be a really difficult task. And then are you even sure that you're actually going to get a head coaching offer, a legitimate head coaching offer?
No, you're not. But you're sure if you stay in Kansas, you're sure you're not going to get a job if you stay in Kansas.
But I can still win more Super Bowls.
So what? Who cares about winning? He wants to be a head coach.
I don't know. I'm thinking now, like I just saw Shane Steichen, who is the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. They go to the Super Bowl. They don't even win. He's there for 2 years, and he gets a head coaching job.
I understand.
Like having success somehow is a negative against Bieniemy, but it's a positive for everyone else.
I think you're not really looking at the situation. I don't care what it should be or what it has been in the past.
Sure.
The reality is he's not getting a job out of Kansas City. He needs to go somewhere to resurrect the idea that he can be a singular play caller and do it on his own without Andy Reid. He has to. It's not fair. Of course, it's totally garbage.
Yeah, but that's
the reality.
Because think about it, right? From like a lifestyle perspective or like quality of life or all that stuff, you take a risk. You go to Washington, right? And say the whole staff gets fired.
Right.
And then what? Now
you're either an OC or quarterback coach within a year somewhere.
Okay, but what if Andy is going to fill his positions?
Sure.
So I know Nagy went right back to Kansas City after the Chicago Bears disaster, but like, so you could either go crawling back to Kansas City or then you got to start over somewhere else. Like,
so what?
I might want to just stay in Kansas City and
do what? Ride it out as the OC and never get any credit for the rest of your career? Well, that's not what you would do.
Be and coach with the greatest quarterback in the NFL. That doesn't seem that bad.
I don't think it's doing enough for his credibility. And I think it's unfair, but I mean, look at the evidence. He's not getting a job after winning 2 Super Bowls. And you're right, Shane Steichen, all he had to do is get to one. I think he's got to try somewhere. I think where we really disagree is I think Washington has a chance with very low expectations for him to get over that bar.
Say a new owner comes in, Bezos, whoever it is. They get new owneritis, and they're like, you know what? I've always wanted insert coach. And then now all of a sudden you're gone.
Yeah,
and yeah, you could catch on somewhere else, but it's like, that's not what you signed up for. Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Michael is in Ohio listening on 96.7. Hey, Michael, what do you have?
Hey, guys. I was just wanted to call in. I'm with my girlfriend right now. She does not like sports at all until she met me 2 years ago. And she wants me to tell you that she absolutely loves you, Maggie.
Yes.
And you have a great smile, great teeth, and a great laugh.
Thank you. Invisalign and Crest white strips.
Oh, that's the secret? Okay, we're going to have to go to Walmart tonight.
There you go.
Hey, Michael, what about her co-host?
Great hair.
She didn't have anything to say about you. Oh, yes, she did. She said that she remembers watching you in Least Valuable Dan Nett on Dan Patrick's show with me. She knows you from there. That's what she knows.
Did you get LVD?
Oh, 4 times.
Oh, man. I didn't realize.
He got it this year, too, and he wasn't even on the show.
Yeah. There are only 4 of us to choose from. I also won MVD for Most Valuable Dan 4 times, Least Valuable Dan 4 times. Twice in the same year, I won both awards.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, okay. So, Michael, next time you're calling, at least fake praise for me. Tell your girlfriend that, okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something.
It shouldn't be that hard. Okay, what were you going to say?
We'll come up with something.
I think I'm a big Ohio State fan. I'm an big Ohio State fan. It's been a rough 2 years. Losing to Michigan is by far the worst thing in the world. Like, shouldn't have lost that game, especially the way we played against Georgia. I believe we should have won a kick away from being national champions.
Yeah.
I do believe, though, because Ryan Day is under a lot of heat right now. And I know people don't think so because it's ridiculous to think that he would be under heat with the record he has. But if he loses to Michigan again this year, which I hope not, I believe that he would be a very good offensive coordinator in the NFL with the offense that he runs. If you put him on a team as offensive coordinator, like, for instance, the Miami Dolphins, with the weapons that they have, if you put Ryan Day as offensive coordinator, I think he'd be an unbelievable offensive coordinator
Michael,
in the NFL.
It's a great point. It's like, it's so funny. Like, were you in the office the other day? Perloff and I were just having this conversation. What's your girlfriend's name? Jenna? Fantastic taste on this woman. I mean, Michael, I don't even know you guys. You outkicked your coverage with this woman. I mean, hang on to her. She's clearly a keeper. Thank you so much for the phone call. We got a lot.
Yeah,
we can get to Ryan Day.
I think he's an Andy Reid guy, too.
I mean, I think he could be a head coach. I don't know about offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Also, is this not the life of Perloff? Most valuable and least valuable Danette all in the same year. I love it. It's the best. Perloff goes against the grain next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I had this wedding ring, which you do not see on my finger right now. Every time I play basketball, I would take the ring off and put it on the side of the court.
Nope.
One day, I'm walking away from basketball, and then I look down at my hand. I'm like, the ring's not there. Still to this day, never found it.
Wow.
I just decided with my wife's blessing not to wear a ring. One of the reasons guys wear rings is to let everyone know that they're off the market.
Yeah.
No need with me. I give off zero vibe that I'm on the market. My wife's like, go to a bar. Do whatever you want. I don't care if you're wearing a ring.
Go to a speed dating thing. I don't care.
Yeah. She's like, strip joint, doesn't matter. She's like, I'd rather you not rip somebody's face off in basketball just to prove your loyalty.
She's the real MVP of that league.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? Welcome back to the show. It is Maggie and Perloff. It's Friday, and we've got the NBA All-Star weekend upon us. It's basically, kind of for kids, but I'm sure we'll tune in, catch the dunk contest a little bit.
Dunk contest is my favorite thing in the world, and I hate this field. I know it's for kids. It's for kids and
Yeah.
Andrew Perloff. I love the dunk contest, and I just don't like that it's pure G League right now.
It's a little bit short on star power this year, but we also have the All-Star game. Now, this is kind of, I think, a little weak for the NBA. Is that, okay, so they pick teams, right? This is what they've been doing for the last couple of years. You have the captains, LeBron and Giannis. Giannis, by the way, hurt his wrist last night, so I don't even know what's going on with him. Joel Embiid's not going to play. He's got a foot injury. But instead of picking the teams like a couple days before, now they're going to pick up sides like right before the game, like a true pickup basketball game. I got him, you got him, I got him. However, the NBA is apparently very concerned about the players' feelings, and they don't want someone to be picked last. This is real. According to Adam Silver, they don't want someone to be picked last. So they're going to have them, they're toying with the idea that you'd have to pick the reserves first and then pick the starters.
Honestly, I know this sounds so soft, but I kind of get it. That's the problem.
Someone's still going to get picked last.
Yeah, it's true. So when they're picking the reserves, there's presumably pick the best reserve first. Is that how it works?
Of course. I mean, yes, if you're trying to win the game.
You can't pick the back end of your team first and then, okay.
Yes.
All right, well, it's a little better from an optics standpoint.
But if you're the last reserve.
But haven't you secretly made fun of the last guy picked in your mind every All-Star break?
Yes. Remember last year where they froze out James Harden?
I mean, it was
great.
It's been pretty much a lot of Rudy Gobert, or unless he's starting. He's picked last a lot.
Well, was Bradley Beal ever taken last too?
I don't know.
I don't know
because people want Bradley Beal on their team, so they want to sign him. So I think he probably went higher. But anyway, I understand the optics. Yeah, it's a little weak. But everyone acts like picking all-star teams is so natural. It's something we never did until the last few years.
Got to be honest, I think this is something that men deal with just a lot more than women. Like, I feel like a lot of your childhoods was a lot of picking teams, and women, I don't feel like have these same scars that you guys have. We've been cut from teams, we've lost, like all that stuff, but the whole picking up, I don't know, maybe I just am not a pickup basketball player, so maybe it's just me.
Oh, it's anything. It's dodgeball, it's kickball, it's anything. You were never picked last in anything? Because I remember.
Not. I'm an Adonis. No.
So how about the other side last? You guys ever get picked last?
Do you guys ever
Definitely,
pick?
yes.
You have gotten picked last too?
Yeah.
And it hurts your feelings, right?
A little, yeah. But I was also maybe like 12 years old, so it is what it is. But definitely 12-year-old me got very offended.
No, but I mean, 12 years old, that's when the scars really get formed.
Yeah.
You know? That's when they cut deep. Connor, pick
Luckily,
last?
I was always a decent athlete, so I was never last. Sometimes in the middle, depending on what kind of group I was with, but never last.
I might have been last, but I think my height got me picked second to last a few times. If you're looking at all things being equal, I was the tallest kid in my class in 5th grade. So, yeah, but that is totally traumatizing.
Yeah.
But I feel like we picked girls in elementary school, too. We played a lot of dodgeball and capture the flag and things.
Yeah, I guess. I don't have a lot of vivid memories of this. What hurts more? Let's go into childhood trauma. Getting picked last for a sports thing, or when you find out someone's having a sleepover or a birthday party and you didn't get invited.
Getting picked last.
I feel like it's the birthday party thing.
Yeah, I think birthday party.
You feel and everyone's gone through it, from the most popular person in school to the least popular person. It's a universal experience, and it universally sucks.
Yeah, I mean, now we have a national mental health crisis because of Instagram.
I know. It feels quaint what we went through all those years ago, and now looking back.
There's a lot of stories about how it's impossible for teenagers now because of social media.
Yeah.
I have a 12-year-old daughter. I think about that a lot. You know what else is really painful? You guys ever been cut from a team?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yes. Eighth grade basketball, and I was shocked. I thought I was going to be starting. And I'm sorry, it was 7th grade. And it shocked me. I did not know what was happening.
How did you think you were going to be starting, but you actually got cut?
Because the coach was insane. We had no idea. He cut like three really good players. In fact, some really good players, guys who became like high school players. I was a bench warmer.
Yeah.
But everybody got cut. We didn't know what criteria was.
Was there something like nefarious going on? Like he was picking
favorites?
7th
grade. We were 12 years old. He had no idea who was going to be good.
Oh gosh, but you were the tallest kid.
Not by 7th grade, but then by 8th grade I was dominant, and we brought the squad back together. Ballackinwood Middle School. Justin Ciccarelli, Mike Bernstein, Andrew Perloff.
Oh, man.
We were unstoppable.
Run DM, too.
Sorry, I'm just going to... Our coach.
Team.
Yeah, the dream team.
Our coach was named Dr. Smith, which is only relevant because he got interviewed for a whole chapter of the Kobe Bryant book. Kobe came to my middle school in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And Dr. Smith was
probably cut him.
Yeah, no.
Clearly couldn't see talent, that guy.
No, he's the one who finally got me on the team.
Oh, okay.
The 8th grade coach was awesome. The 7th grade coach was a total jerk.
Oh, I lost you.
But anyway, he was a huge influence on me, and he was a massive influence on Kobe Bryant.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Kobe's basketball career went in a completely different direction.
Slightly. First-round pick. You were playing on the JV team at Dartmouth.
But I'm sorry.
Similar.
This is an aside, but you played tennis.
Yeah.
I played some tennis. Losing a tennis match is painful because there's no one to turn to.
Cannot blame anybody. Just why did I suck today? But I have gotten cut. I got cut from a travel soccer team.
Oh, no.
Brutal.
Why?
I wasn't very good, to be honest. I would have been shocked if I made it.
Why'd you try out?
Well, my friends were doing it, so I decided to go out for the team.
First of all, travel soccer coming out of Binghamton, New York, that's elite stuff.
That's
it's a little cold for soccer, no?
You think? We played indoor.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool, and it's also like the death cage. The ball's bouncing all over, just flying into people's heads. I digress. Perloff, you have an against the grain. Shall we get to that?
Please.
Let's go.
Against the grain.
Okay, this is not original because I've said it before, but now I have to reiterate it, and I mean it times 1,000. ESPN's Tim Bontemps does an amazing job. Every year he does 2 or 3 straw polls of NBA MVP voters and ranks where he thinks it'll end up. Guess who's number 1 this year in Tim Bontemps' latest poll. It was Jason Tatum in December, but a new player has risen to the top.
I think I know who it is.
Who?
Two-time MVP Nikola Jokic.
Yes. That dude is going to win another MVP, his third in a row.
Yeah.
And I ask you, what happened to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs last year?
They lost to the Warriors.
In how many games? 5 in round 1. I mean, come on.
The Warriors did go on to win the title. I'm sorry, go ahead.
If he's the NBA MVP, if he's the most valuable player in the NBA, and I know it's a regular season award and they vote the regular season, doesn't he have to be good enough to get his team to the finals at least once in this 3 MVP run? There is no, I wouldn't vote for him in a million years. I don't care if he goes Will Chamberlain and scores 50 points a game. He's obviously not the most valuable player. Obviously. Because the Nuggets have not won a single thing.
Okay, but the most valuable player, where he didn't have a lot of help around him, couldn't beat the most valuable, the best team. It ended up being the Warriors as the best team. They lost to the eventual champs. That doesn't mean anything to you?
Nothing.
It also is a regular season award.
He lost in 5 games in the first round.
But he didn't have anybody around him either.
Okay, I know it's a regular season award, so everyone says, that's what everyone on Twitter said to me, it's a regular season award. They don't call it the regular season MVP. They call it the NBA MVP.
But they vote on it before the playoffs start.
They might, but they have to realize that they just voted for this dude twice in a row, and he flamed out in the playoffs. You have to consider that, don't you? If you're a voter, are you really going to vote for him one more time? He's going to be a 3-time MVP voter who can't get out of the second round except for the bubble year?
Well, I mean, I think the Nuggets could be set up to go to the finals this year. The Western Conference is really bunched together, and they're finally, knock on wood, healthy.
Unfortunately, you're just not that good because he's not really the most valuable player. He's a numbers here. He's averaging a triple-double.
Yeah.
He's basically a 7-foot-tall Russell Westbrook with a much better shot. I just don't think he doesn't play any defense. I don't think that style is going to win. That ball-dominant sort of Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic style is not going to win in the playoffs. The team that moves the ball around and spreads out these numbers is going to beat him.
Okay, but
and he's going to lose again this year.
But Jokic gets praised all the time for what a great passer he is.
I know. But the same dumb voters who voted for Russell Westbrook at MVP are going to vote for Jokic 3 times in a row because they just see these gaudy numbers when that's clearly not what wins championships in the NBA.
Okay, so in your opinion, then, should Steph Curry be winning it every year? Like, who should be winning? Because LeBron
Honestly,
James
I think
doesn't win every year.
There's only 3 players in the last 12 years, I think, who should have won the MVP.
LeBron,
Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. I do not care about the
Kevin Durant couldn't won 1 playoff series in Brooklyn. How is he an MVP by your standards?
Over the last 12 years.
Oh, well, he joined a super team. He doesn't get the credit for that.
Well, he's still good enough, honestly, and we'll see him this year in Phoenix. He's a much better player than Jokic.
Well, he also, now he's on a great team, too.
No, I mean, how about that time that he carried the Nets to basically 7 games with the Bucks with 4 G Leaguers around him? That was the most impressive playoff series he's ever had.
Well, he did have Harden. Harden happened to be hurt in that series, but he did play.
Oh, did he?
He played most of the series.
Well, I mean, honestly, exactly. That's like a guy a batter who's about to go up having a donut around his bat. Playing with Harden is an incredible achievement. Harden won the MVP, and he's not in the top 25 players in the NBA.
Well, okay, so I think maybe the question is it the fact that you do have a problem with Jokic in his game? You've said this before.
He's great, but he's not a championship kind of player.
Okay, but maybe then your real problem is with the award in itself.
No, my real problem is the way they vote for the wrong guy every year.
Okay, well, then your beef is with the media, not with the player.
Well, yes, they're voting for the wrong people. They should vote for the guy who they think contributes the most, who's really the most valuable player in the NBA.
You don't think Giannis deserved those 2 MVPs? He did get to a finals, but before he got the second MVP, he hadn't been to the finals.
I have no problem with Giannis because he won the title.
And he won the title, obviously.
Yes, although honestly, I'm not sure Giannis was more valuable. I can't remember. Was he up against a good Curry and KD year, or was he before that?
No, he was up against a hurt KD year.
Yeah, so Giannis is okay. He's a little better than Jokic because at least he plays defense. But you have to be a championship caliber player. Honestly, I just think the NBA and all the writers are caught up on the wrong things.
But here's the thing: when they vote for the award, is the day, I believe it's the day after the season ends, the regular season. So you don't know if you're voting for a championship person yet.
But you do know it fell flat the 2 years before. Okay. You have to consider that.
Okay, but I also think, don't you have to give a little grace to guys? It's tough to win your first title, and Jokic is 27 years old. It's not like he's been in the league for years and years, and he's this perennial loser.
But he's won 2 MVPs already.
I know, but he still could be a champion. Like Giannis won his second MVP and then went on to win the title.
I think when you're looking at MVP, you got to look at the player. If he played that year, who's most likely to win a title? And I don't think a lot of voters, honestly, in an honest moment, think that's Joker. I think they think other guys could be more effective. Honestly.
Yeah, but then you're only voting for the same guys. Probably, well, they're voting for Joker over and over again. But like, would you have put Jason Tatum in an MVP conversation before they got to the finals this year?
Nope. Now I will, though.
Okay, but now, so like that's like a chicken or the egg thing. Like the finals have to come first before you can even get into the possible MVP voting.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that?
So Steve Nash should not have his two.
See, those were two of the most ridiculous MVPs I've ever seen in my life, because that was all Mike D'Antoni's system that everybody put up huge numbers. There's no way Nash should have won over Shaq. That was an absolute joke. And by the way, I think I'm not alone on that. There are a lot of people who look back at that year when Nash scored 15 points a game and Shaq just dominated the whole league.
Yeah.
I honestly think you should not vote for Joker, and I don't think he's going to win. I think people are going to come around to this
and have fatigue. So so this year, Steph Curry is hurt. KD just demanded a trade, and listen.
No, he's out. Curry, LeBron, and KD are too old now. It's going to come down to Embiid, Giannis, and Joker, and maybe Tatum gets in there, and maybe Luka. But I think that they're going to be tempted.
Do you think Luka Doncic plays a winning style of basketball?
No, not at all. But I think
I was going to say, yet somehow he should be in the running.
No, I don't like this high usage European. Like I watched James Harden, for example, the other day, and this is the end of my rant. It was a close game against the Cavs.
Yeah, they were up by 25 the whole game and then let it go.
Okay, they needed a basket desperately at the end. James Harden comes down, dribbles the entire 24-second clock, then takes a step back three. The kind of stuff Luka does all the time, too. That is garbage basketball. You cannot win that way. You can win an MVP, but you're not going to win a title, Maggie. I'm done.
Okay, rant over. Do you agree with Perloff? I don't really have a problem with it. If you're great in the regular season, that's what the award is. Like,
that's not really what the award is.
They should give they
don't call it the regular season MVP.
Of the playoffs award. No, that's basically just your finals MVP. But it never really works out like that.
Dirk Nowitzki won an MVP early in his career, and then they flamed out early.
And they lost in the first round the next year.
Yeah, and then he won the title in a year that he didn't get any MVP love because he disappointed the voters in the postseason. I think that's the way it should be.
Wow. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Now, if Jokic does win a third MVP in a row, it would be some pretty exclusive company. There's only been 3 other players in the NBA who have ever done 3 in a row, I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's been Wilt Chamberlain, it's been Bill Russell, and it's been Larry Bird.
Man, what did those 3 have in common that the Joker does not have?
Well, you know.
A lot of NBA Finals trips.
That's true. 855-212-4CBS. Let's go to John, who's in Wisconsin, listening to us on 1250. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, guys? Perloff, I think you're so close with your Joker take, and I agree. It's not just because I like Giannis, but I agree he should not be the MVP. It's not a championship style that he has, and I think that the MVP is sort of it should extend into the playoffs and all of that. But then you made a comment that, well, he doesn't play much defense, right? Well, that shouldn't just be that shouldn't be a side comment. And every time we have this discussion for media talking heads, it's always like they throw in, and he plays defense. Defense is like 50%. There's a reason why your first point about him not playing championship basketball is because of defense. Offense wins in the regular season. You get into the postseason, the teams that clamp down, and Joker is a bottom 100 one-on-one defender. So it has to be a massive part of the conversation. That's my point.
Well,
John,
one thing, though.
Great point. Thanks for making it.
John, I hate to say it, Embiid could steal it from Giannis if that's the case, because Giannis is playing greater defense, but Embiid's a force on defense.
I agree with you there, and I think if it was between Giannis and Embiid, I'm okay with Giannis ceding it to Embiid because Embiid is fantastic. But Joker being heads and tails above Giannis, who is potentially the best two-way player in the world, is just a joke, in my opinion.
John, noted. And I don't know, I can't say it's a joke, but I think that John brings up the great point, which is we do kind of throw in ON defense when maybe we should focus on it a lot more.
Yeah.
I like this one from Thomas in the chat's got a point for you.
Okay.
Your point is, he said, here's an argument in Perloff's favor. LeBron hasn't won in the last 10 years. Do you mean to say he wasn't the best in the NBA even once during that time? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's like Michael Jordan didn't win a lot of MVPs. Fatigue, you don't want to vote for the same guy, which is funny because they wouldn't vote for LeBron because they got tired of it, but they're going to vote for Joker every year?
I think there's something about that NBA community, the NBA media community, that just appreciates this. And it was like Steve Nash, the passing.
The slow white guys? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't think Nash was slow, but just like the passing and all in his offensive skill set.
Yeah, but that was all D'Antoni. Nash did nothing without D'Antoni. I mean, everybody. Sean Marion scored like 23 points a game. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that MVP. Why did they like Westbrook? Why did they like Harden? It was the same thing as Joker. These big, gaudy numbers that just really aren't accurate.
I'll agree with you. I thought Embiid got hosed last year. I thought it should have been Embiid.
I thought it was about a tie between the two. I don't think Embiid's a championship-winning player either. He turns the ball over way too much.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on that conversation. Perloff going against the grain. Jokic, no third MVP for that guy, according to
Is that against the grain, by the way? Because 3 in a row seems like a lot for that guy.
I think a lot of people love Jokic.
Like NBA fans?
No, random people on the street. Yeah,
I don't know.
yes, NBA fans.
Do you think people like him like they like Giannis? No, I don't think so.
One thing that Jokic doesn't do that, this is just a little side rant, he should probably, he's got no footprint. Like, he plays in Denver. He's got no commercials. He's got nothing. That's
because nobody likes him. He's the dad bod god. He appeals to 45-year-old NBA writers, not to kids.
Well, yeah, but I guess,
he's also the tall guy. That no one likes that.
People love Giannis. He's the tall guy. People love Shaq. He's the tall guy.
But Giannis is not the tall guy like Joker is a tall guy. Giannis can also run like crazy.
Well, that's true.
And he probably lies about his height and says he's not 7 feet tall.
All right, coming up, I go into a sensory deprivation cone of silence.
Oh, we could do that now?
I think we're going to do it now.
But I do demand one thing.
What's that?
Afterwards, you come out with a home for Aaron Rodgers in 2023.
That's what I should be meditating on?
That's what he's doing. Somewhere in the darkness, you're going to find the answer.
Okay, Connor, keep the YouTube stream going on me right now. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio if you want to listen. I want to watch. I'm going to put a blindfold on because we can't get it super dark in here because this is actually a functioning TV and radio studio.
Do you have a blindfold?
I think I'm going to use the scarf that was gifted to us by the great folks at the Special Olympics. We don't have anything else around here. We're bare bone.
Okay.
I have a coat. I could just put a coat over my head.
Whatever you feel is the appropriate darkness deprivation.
I'm going to put the scarf around my face.
I can go in the newsroom and see if anybody has any ayahuasca for the full Aaron Rodgers experience.
This newsroom, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a couple takers. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I'm going into the darkness. I'll tell you where Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing in 2023 next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, no! Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie Gray has been in a darkness deprivation situation for 5 minutes, and we were trying to fool her by going longer than 5 minutes, so I'm on the other side of the glass, but it did not work.
I just freaked out.
She wimped out and pulled off her scarf. Hold on, Stu, you come here and vamp. I'm going to go back to my mic and see how Maggie's doing. She's pulling an Aaron Rodgers, and it didn't go so well.
I totally am disoriented because I heard somebody come into the studio, and I thought, okay, it's Perloff. It's time to do the show again. And I was like, all right, Perloff, is it time? And there was no answer. It's like, is it time? Is the show starting? No answer. And then the door opens and shuts again. It's like, what's going on? Wait a minute.
So our whole plan was to try and go a minute or two longer by me being on the other side of the glass. Just to see. How'd you know that we were back? Or you just panicked?
It was just the door opening and shutting. That's it. I would have never known.
Wait, the door opened and shut because Stu came in here to film you and started laughing too hard.
I thought it was Perloff. Stu, you heard me being like, is somebody in here?
Yes, and I did. I was like,
I'm on the other side of the glass, and Stu comes over. He's laughing hysterically. I'm wondering how long we can make you sit in darkness. By the way, I don't know if we were kind of watching you. Your hands were going up to your face. You could sense a little bit of panic coming in.
Because I think I have like a sixth sense about how long our breaks are. So I could tell we were getting to the end.
Well, we
felt like it.
We turned down all the different. There's a lot of bells and whistles to let the host know that the show's coming back. So we turned them all down. Connor turned them down. And all right, I'm sorry for doing that.
No, oh my gosh, I just had a heart attack.
12 seconds into the night, you went 5 minutes and 12 seconds. What did you learn about yourself, Maggie Gray, in this darkness situation?
I'm so glad I did this because I want to tell you guys about the journey that I just went on. 5 minutes of darkness and full silence.
5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 12 seconds of darkness. So at first I was like, all right, it's got to be, where's Aaron Rodgers going to go, right? This is why I'm doing this whole darkness deprivation therapy thing and see if I could, see if I can channel what Rodgers is getting. Like, obviously, it's got to be between the Jets and the Raiders. I'm like, Jets and the Raiders.
You were really thinking about this?
Yeah. I'm going back and forth. And then I swear to you, with like a minute left before you ended up telling me, that this was over, before I panicked, another team emerged from my subconscious.
Wow.
Yeah. Can I tell you what that team was?
I can't wait.
And then now I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I'm like, wait a minute.
I can't wait. Who?
I think he might go to Miami.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good.
Ooh. Okay, Tua, they're saying all the right things, but, you've got a roster that's ready to win. I don't know if you can actually go into the season with just Tua, and then your backup is going to be what? You had Teddy Bridgewater last year. Are you getting that much better of a backup for the money you might spend?
Love it.
Okay. Then I'm thinking Green Bay, I think there was already reports that don't want to send him to another team in the NFC. Then I'm thinking.
So that knocks out.
So that would knock out
the whole
NFC. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe Miami makes sense from there. We know that they've got great receivers. And I actually think Rodgers might vibe with McDaniel. With Mike McDaniel.
Oh,
He's just that same kind of new age, kind of open to everything. He's not like Mike McCarthy was kind of like old school. He's like old school football guy. There's a couple people who are like that. McDaniels isn't like that at all. He's as new school as it comes. I don't know. I kept thinking Miami, and then I couldn't get out of my head until I thought somehow the show was off the air or something. All right. So I'm going to go with Miami.
I like that a lot. I do think the Raiders and Jets will probably still be in it.
Yeah.
Unless the Jets sign him. But
unless the Jets sign Carr.
Miami would be the closest to a Super Bowl for him, right?
Listen, I know that, again, it's the AFC East. So you'd have the same things with the Jets that you'd be worried about with the Dolphins. You got to play in Buffalo. You got to play in New England. It's going to be tough, but I don't think he cares about that.
No, I think the Dolphins is a much better situation than the Jets. Now, the problem with the Dolphins obviously will be Tua, and giving up 2 draft picks will be, I don't know if they have them anymore.
Well, you'd be doing it for after this draft anyway, right? Because technically Rodgers couldn't get traded till basically June is when it's going to post. So 2024 draft. See, that's what we're not thinking about. We're thinking, who's going to have the 2023 draft picks? It's the 2024 draft pick that comes into play.
Yes, but I don't think that I think that the Packers, if they're given the choice between those two teams, would want the Jets picks and not the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is getting traded, but he holds so much, just like Tyreek Hill basically got to choose where he wanted to go because, I think the Chiefs were kind of just doing him a solid there. But Rodgers can always threaten to retire, and that's why he could say, listen, if you send me to the Jets, I'm going to retire.
Love it.
Miami.
Thank God we did this exercise.
Yeah, people in the chat wondering what the scarf was. I needed to put this on because we can't get it fully dark in here because it's, a television radio studio. This was given to us by the lovely people at the Special Olympics. No, it does not have CBD in it, Tim. I came to the Miami.
Get your head out of it. Head out of the gutter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Weedos. Come on.
The head's in the bong.
Did you make any personal realizations?
That I got nothing for you.
Any discoveries about who Maggie Gray really is?
Won't know. Don't want to find out. But Aaron Rodgers going to Miami is now, that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Aaron Rodgers to Miami.
Yeah.
Let's check out the odds.
They're 1,000,000 to 1.
I think the Raiders are minus 250. The Jets are plus 250. And then.
The Raiders are minus 250.
Yeah.
That's it.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Packers are right around the same thing as the Raiders. That doesn't make any sense. Tampa Bay's in there, too.
Nick in Texas. Ammonia was in the scarf. Nick. Jeez. Get dark.
Yeah, Nick. What?
Come on.
Don't be a freaking weirdo.
Too late.
Yeah, poor Nick. I think whatever he took, the pie to the face might have gone up the nasal cavity.
Dairy on the brain.
Oh, man, that was really fun.
Yeah.
I wish you had gone for like 9 minutes.
I think that if I had sat in the scarf a little bit longer, I think I would have come to some realizations about myself, but I was too busy on Rodgers. Maybe next time I'll think about me.
Yeah, or maybe we should do this whenever we have a hard dilemma about something.
Someone goes in the scarf?
Yeah, or if you have to make a big prediction, say the Super Bowl, you should go into the scarf.
Just descend deep into the scarf.
Maggie's in the scarf again.
When you saw me in the scarf, did it make you want to go into the scarf?
No, none of us did.
None of us did. You're too busy laughing at me.
We immediately went into prank mode, all of us. Connor's pushing buttons. He's like, I can kill the sound coming from this, that, and the other thing.
All of a sudden, Connor turns into MacGyver.
I think Stu screwed it up by going in.
I shouldn't have tried to film it. I should have just stayed in here and just...
No, I respect you for trying to get up close and film it. It just freaked me out to no end, especially when you didn't answer.
Well, no. Panicked. He came out. He was laughing. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen Stu laughing harder than when he came out.
So I was like, hello? Who's there? Perloff? What's going on? Is the show on?
Stu comes out double over in laughter. I had no idea you were saying, is this show on?
That's Stu laugh.
Oh.
I was freaking out.
That is awesome. That was. I'm very proud of you for doing that. That was cool because I know you don't like sitting in total silence.
I do not. I do not want to think that deeply about anything. Coming up, we are still taking your last minute entries. If you have any questions for the advice duck, let us know about that.
Well, at least we'll get back on track with the.
Yes. Come on, guys. Time to get serious.
Yeah, with the advice foul. Great.
Also coming up, we do have the one team that's trying too hard to be the Chiefs. And later on, Perloff and I will make one big future bet that you've got to hear about. For now, though, a CBS Sports update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Eric Bieniemy has been in Kansas City for Andy Reid's entire tenure, but could be leaving as the Chiefs' offensive coordinator is reportedly in talks to take over the same role with the Washington Commanders. The Jets have not hid their interest in possibly signing a veteran quarterback, and with one on the market, they are in pursuit and will reportedly speak with free agent Derek Carr this weekend. Carr has also met with the Saints. The future of Aaron Rodgers is anyone's guess, but Aaron Jones is staying in Green Bay, reportedly reworking his deal that calls for a $5 million pay cut, but also an $8.5 million signing bonus. The NBA is idle for the All-Star break as the best and brightest head for this weekend's festivities in Utah. The Suns dropped to the 5th spot in the Western Conference, but last night's loss to the Clippers to end the first half, but can look forward to the start of the second half with Kevin Durant set to make his debut with his new team. He said the change of scenery has provided a spark.
We got somebody like Devin, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton, guys that work, and I wanted to be a part of that, so I'm excited I'm here. I'm looking forward to trying to add as much as I can to the group already. Like I said, they built, themselves up and built the structure and the infrastructure up for themselves already, and I'm looking forward to adding to it.
And the New York Rangers go for their 7th straight win in Edmonton. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie, I just looked at the rundown, and it's just so funny to see Advice Duck in all caps sitting there later. What kind of show are we doing here? It's amazing. I love it.
Well, it is Friday, which means the Advice Duck's in the house. So, yeah, send me your questions. You can put them in the chat. We're streaming youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Maggie and Pearl, obviously. We have an email address, maggieandperloff@gmail.com.
I'm very impressed with the clarity you came out of your 5-minute darkness deprivation tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
A scarf wrapped around your head.
Yep.
Yeah, your insights seemed on point right afterwards. You made really sound points. I think that's something that you need to do all the time.
Daily.
When a huge life decision or sports decision comes up, I think 5 minutes of darkness is the way to go.
5 minutes in the scarf, in the red scarf.
Do you think this will help Aaron Rodgers after your little experience?
You know, maybe, but I don't know about what is he doing? 3 days, 2 nights and 1 day of darkness.
I thought it was 4 days, 4 nights, which I didn't understand. So what's he do during the day?
I mean, 4 days. Like, when's the last time anyone even had a vacation for 4 days? Like, this is serious time.
Those football guys have about 6 months off.
That's true. They do have a whole off season.
Because I could do 4 nights of darkness deprivation. It's called
Sleeping.
Yeah.
4 nights in a row. Look at you.
Yeah, I mean,
you're really on the cutting edge.
I'm no longer afraid of the dark, and I do turn off the lights at night. Yeah.
You're not afraid of the dark. Can't relate. I'm definitely afraid of the dark.
Oh, yeah, you don't like the dark. I forgot about that.
Really afraid of the dark. And watching shows like Last of Us and all that isn't helping.
I am claustrophobic. Did you feel that when you had...
No.
Okay.
The scarf was breathable material.
Yeah, I'm claustrophobic and afraid of heights. Those are my two biggies.
Well, the real test for the clarity scarf, maybe that's what we call it.
The clarity scarf.
The clarity scarf. The real test for the clarity scarf will be, does it translate to my betting?
There you go.
Because if it can give me clarity on my sports bets, then really this scarf has got some magical powers.
Yeah, and then it could catch fire. Everyone's going to be wrapping a scarf around their head, sitting tight, and then pulling up the odds.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're going to do the NBA champion. I have DraftKings up. I'm looking at odds.
Let's do future bets at the All-Star break. Who do we think is going to win the NBA title? Call it now.
Okay, I had a problem with this exercise.
What's that?
I'm just going to be honest here about what I did. I was looking at the odds, and I said, oh, and I bet on 3 teams immediately because the odds were
you already bet? I thought we were going to wait.
No, I already bet. I couldn't wait. Just looking them up, I had to jump on that because I was so panicky that those odds were going to change because they just don't seem right.
Wait, between now and what? 5 o'clock Eastern?
Okay. Can I just say there are
What,
2
are you
teams,
live betting a future?
There are 2 teams with wildly big lines that I don't totally understand.
Okay, go ahead.
This is not my team. We're picking one team each.
Yeah, we're picking
The Lakers are plus 4,000. That's high. What if they figure it out?
Do you really think the Lakers are going to figure it out?
No, but for $5 to win $200, yes, I do think.
Okay.
And then the Warriors are plus 1,700. What if Curry comes back?
No, but what's the deal with Curry's knee?
I don't know. If I bet $5, I win 90 on that one.
Also,
so that's great odds as well.
Hold on. If the Warriors played the Celtics again, and if it was a rematch of the NBA Finals, who do you think wins? Because I think it'd be the Celtics the second time.
I do, but, as you always say, there's a long way to go. The Celtics have to stay healthy. Actually, no, I'd take the Warriors.
You would?
I took the Celtics last year, and they burned me.
I know.
That's really close. I don't think it'd be silly to take the Warriors. If they get healthy and find a way to get out of the West, yeah, of course they could beat the Celtics.
No, I think that the Celtics are the kind of team where, got there one time, lose, and then, when they come back, they're like, all right, now we know what it takes. Now we get what we're up against. And, when it gets to a game 5, I think you'd see a totally different thing.
A building step. I totally understand what you're saying, but those are just the long odds. I think if I'm going to pick one team, how high, say one of the top 8 teams. Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you have?
Okay.
But you already put bets on 3 teams.
I did. My third team.
For the sake of the show, you got to pick one.
I think that the Suns are the favorite in the West, but I'm putting my money on the Clippers because it's plus 900.
Wow, and you're worried about, can the Celtics stay healthy, and you're going to bet on the Clippers?
So the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard, all they have to do is get one run of health. Don't bring in Russell Westbrook. If that rumor is true.
Oh, my gosh, what a bad idea that would be.
I just think those are pretty long odds for a team that has had playoff success with Paul George. And Kawhi Leonard, everything I was saying about Joker not being a playoff winning player, Kawhi Leonard has that Spurs DNA. He just knows how to play team basketball. I'm thinking that's really good odds. So I'm going to back the Clippers to come out of the West. I don't feel great about it.
What are they at?
Plus 900.
Plus 900. Okay.
So it's compared to the Celtics are plus 275 and the Suns are plus 425. So I think the Clippers is the best value there. That's my most excitable bet.
Is there anything exciting about the Clippers, though?
No, they're so boring.
Except for the fact
I had to put money on them to be able to watch them.
I was going to say, is this just so that you can stay awake during their games?
Yes, they are not exciting to me at all.
It's weird because they are how much over the luxury tax? $1 billion? Steve Ballmer has spared no expense. They pay everybody, and it's such a boring product. I don't understand it. They were on last night, and I'm just trying to stay awake.
That was really hard.
It was tough. And so,
but that boring is good. It's Spurs like.
Kawhi is, yeah.
Kawhi and Paul George isn't that exciting either. He's good.
The idea that both these guys are going to stay healthy, give me your $5 and I'll just light it on fire.
Well, I think the Suns are the legit favorite. I love the Suns, but plus 425. Is that what we're doing here?
Can I? Why do we think the Suns thing is going to automatically work? I said this the day that Durant was traded. first of all, you traded for somebody who has a knee injury. So you're trading for somebody who's already hurt.
That's not a real knee injury.
Oh, that was a Brooklyn knee injury?
Well, he wanted to play in the All-Star game. Okay.
That was a dumb idea, too.
Take the knee injury out. Say they are somewhat healthy. How can you not say that they're the most talented team?
Devin Booker has a groin injury? That's never easy to come back from. You have Chris Paul, who is barely able to finish the season healthy in the later years of his career. And I think listen, are they going to win some games? Yeah, but you're asking them to gel to the point where they would win a title over teams like the Celtics, who've been playing together for years, or get out of the Western Conference against the Warriors, who have this championship core. I don't see it.
I do.
Can I hedge the Suns? Can I somehow hedge a bet? I want to short them. Yeah, not hedge them.
Why don't we do a bet here? Because you have a chance. I'll think of a bet for the Suns, because you do have DeAndre Ayton, you do have Devin Booker,
yeah,
you do have Kevin Durant.
No, I know they went to a finals. I get it.
Yes, you have a lot of elements here. On paper, it's a great team.
And I get that Durant kind of fits with everybody.
I'm not worried about the gelling thing for some reason. And is that a mistake on my part?
Well, because Durant's so good. He'll go in, and he went into the Warriors and gelled perfectly, and they won a title.
He seems like an easy player to gel with.
Yeah.
Devin Booker usually has a green light. If you take that green light away from him, is he going to be the same player? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm really into the Suns team. But my bet would be the Clippers. I think both those teams are kind of built like teams you see go far away. Kevin Durant reminds me a little bit when KD went to the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as super teamy.
No.
But yeah, I get
they're definitely super teamy. Who do you got?
Okay. And I'm basically just doing this because I know it's going to slightly get under your skin. You did this impassioned.
Wait. You're not going to do the Sixers, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, that would have been good. No, even I can't bring myself to do the Sixers. But,
yeah.
Sorry. You guys had the Eagles in the Super Bowl. The Phillies are in the World Series. There's no chance that the 76ers make the finals.
If they do get to the finals, bet against them. That's all I would tell you.
I don't think the sports gods are really going to give us 3 Philadelphia teams, all 3 major sports.
What about MLS? Philadelphia Union lost in the finals as well.
Let's not forget sports, them. But yeah, okay. Good. Soccer's awesome, but I can't do it.
No.
So
okay.
Because you went against the grain earlier in the show, and I know this player bothers the bejesus out of you. You have given me no choice but to back the Denver Nuggets at plus 800. Jokic for the third MVP. I have to do it just because I've got to. First, also, I think you're right. I think Jokic has got to start winning something. He's going to get all this regular season hardware. You got to show out. And I think they're going to be healthier this year, although health, who knows, knock on wood.
Yeah,
so
I mean, they do have guys like Michael Porter who are never healthy, but okay.
I know. Denver Nuggets plus 800.
Oh, that's good odds.
That's my 500. That's my 5 on it.
Okay. First of all, I don't hate Joker in any way. I don't like Westbrook and I don't like Harden. I like Joker's game. I just don't think he should win the MVP every year.
Okay.
How about a side bet? Will you do even odds then? Give me the Suns and give you the Nuggets on some kind of side bet. I know the Suns odds are a little better.
Yeah, the Suns odds are better.
But do you feel confident? And they easily could play each other in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That could be a really fun bet because I will back. Maybe just because we were in Phoenix, I will back my Phoenix Suns over your Nuggets.
And I will short your Phoenix Suns. Do I want to short them with the Nuggets, though? I kind of want you.
That's fair. Come on. The Nuggets are the 1 seed.
Yeah, but what does that matter? Let me think about it.
Why are the Celtics the number 1 seed by so far away?
Because they're really good.
I think so, but is it also because they're in the East and people are not taking the Eastern Conference playoffs as seriously as the Western field?
I mean, I think that'd be kind of dumb, right? You have Giannis, you've got Embiid, you have good talent.
Yeah, the Sixers don't seem to be built for the playoffs. The Heat are down.
Yeah, so the Nets just got decimated. I think it's a little bit top heavy in the East.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the Celtics and the Bucks are the real threats.
Definitely.
There. The West is pretty crazy. I mean, we were looking at the play-in tournament.
Yeah,
you could have Kyrie Irving and LeBron James in the play-in tournament. I think that could be a really, really tough playoff field.
Are we just not doing the obvious thing here?
What's that?
Should we just go with the Bucks at plus 600?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's good odds, and it's the Bucks.
I like that.
They look good with Middleton back.
That's a fun bandwagon to be on. But
although Giannis did hurt his wrist last night, we mentioned.
Can we wait to see what happens there? No,
Probably.
Oh, man, this is so confusing. If you're listening to this segment, I think I've picked 4 teams already.
Well, I'm staying with the Nuggets.
You don't like that Lakers bet at plus 4,000?
Well, I mean, I got 5 on it, sure.
Yeah,
but I'm not a Lakers believer. Nick, though, is putting something for the advice duck, but I don't know if this is advice duck worthy. Not worthy, but it's a different vein. Would you rather be the winner of the slam dunk contest, the skills challenge, or 3-point contest?
Oh, for me, it's so easy.
What?
Slam dunk king for life. Every slam dunk champions, that's like winning the Heisman in NBA.
Who won last year? Exactly.
Yeah, but I could tell you 20 winners. I can't tell you who's won it. Except for Larry Bird, I have no idea who's won a 3-point shooting contest. And the skills contest?
Ray Allen, you could probably just throw darts at the wall,
yeah,
right?
I have no idea.
Reggie, Peja Stojakovic, I think, won one.
Those guys couldn't have all won one, did they? I have no idea.
But we don't remember who won any of these. Well, we remember the slam dunk competitions from our youth.
Not even our youth. We know that Zach LaVine won 2 pretty recently. We know that Aaron Gordon was in the finals all the time. It's just recently, in the last few years, it's really gone badly. I remember I could do these dunks. If we had a small, I could do Isaiah Ryder on the baseline. I could do Baby Jordan, Harold Miner's winning dunk. I could do D Brown hiding his face. I know the slam dunk contest better than I know anything.
You could be like that guy on Twitter who does all the baseball stances, except it's for dunks.
Oh, there's also a guy who does everybody's dribble as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That could be you.
The problem is the rim has to be really, really low. Really low. Maggie, I mean,
like
eye level.
Well, we'll see if we can get on that. We'll try to effort that for you.
So what would you take?
I want to do skills competition because I'm done first.
Yeah.
And then I get to just go party in Salt Lake City.
Chest pass into a net?
Yeah, that's my kind of thing.
That is the dumbest all-star activity there ever was.
I'm a big obstacle course kind of person. Okay. I would love that. 3-point slam dunk. Whatever. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, we'll talk about interesting sound from our buddy Josh Allen. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Is that the worst thing you can do to a coworker? Is take their Diet Dr. Pepper out of the fridge? Because I didn't do it, but the thought crossed my mind. And my second thought was, wow, Maggie would just kill me if I did this.
I mean, listen, you could sleep with somebody's wife. That'd be worse.
I don't think it's
taking
that.
Their soda, but
You mean like Boston Celtics? No, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think that's worse. I think it's about time. If I had put a Diet Dr. Pepper in the fridge to go with my lunch and somebody took it, I
would be more upset than if I was like, hey, by the way, Dale is sleeping with your wife.
That Dale. Dale. I would want to.
He's got Dr. Pepper. Dale, you're forgiven.
I would want to punch Dale if he was sleeping with my wife. If he took my Dr. Pepper, it'd be full on attack.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. It's Friday. You made it. You might be starting to relax and kind of ease into your weekend, Perloff, but someone who's hard at work, everybody at the New York Jets. They're trying to woo Derek Carr, who's in the building this weekend. What do you think? They invited him there just to be like, I don't know, go get yourself a sandwich over there. No, they're going to wine him and dine him. They're going to try to convince him he should come to New York.
You're saying they would let him put pen to paper this weekend and not wait for Rodgers?
I think they would. I think it's like, what's the old saying? The bird in a hand's worth two in the bush. I think that you're going to wait for Rodgers to emerge from his sensory deprivation cabin, and then what did he find there? That he wants to go to the Jets? What if he says he wants to go back to Green Bay? What if he wants to go to Vegas?
Wait, does he have a no trade?
Rodgers does not have a no trade, but he always has the threat of retirement. So you gotta play ball with him a little bit. He's gonna go, just like what the Packers did with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. I think that they at least want to have a conversation with Aaron Rodgers before they sign Derek Carr to pen and paper. I think Rodgers would love Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas. I mean, I think anybody would. I think Derek Carr will love them too. They're really easy to like.
I agree with you, but it's not like such an easy move for a guy who, listen, Carr doesn't have a future in Vegas. There's no way he can come back. The team has told him, you're gone, you've been released. With Rodgers, at any moment, he could repair the relationship with Green Bay. We've seen this so many times. There's always that threat of, 18 years, we've been here, let's try to do this thing the right way. Maybe he doesn't want to do the same thing that Favre did. We have no idea if that plays into Rodgers. Like, there's just so many obstacles here that if I'm the Jets, I'm thinking I got Derek Carr in the building. He's better than any quarterback I've had since fill in the blank.
Why? What do you mean? Why is he better than Sam Darnold?
Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was atrocious.
Yeah, but
Sam Darnold's not going to be a starter in this league.
I think he had a higher rating than Derek Carr did last year. I mean, what is Derek Carr?
Carr's coming off of a bad season.
But why?
I don't know. Couldn't get used to McDaniel's system. No clue. I have no clue why that didn't work. In the red zone, he was atrocious. We talked about this with Stu yesterday. He was terrible. I don't think he can be that bad. He's an instant upgrade. Sam Darnold was terrible for the Jets. Maybe that wasn't all his fault, but he was bad.
Yeah, I mean, so Derek Carr last year had an 86 rating. And, I mean, that's Sam Darnold-like. And he's had 2 good years. One, I think both under Gruden. I don't know. I'm not sold.
I mean, Sam Darnold couldn't beat out Baker Mayfield.
Listen, no, Sam Darnold's not good, but are you closer to Sam Darnold or are you closer to Aaron Rodgers?
Well, no, he's definitely not closer to Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think he's close to Darnold. I think he's a middle. He's like a top 15 to 18 quarterback, and I think the Jets would be like thanking their lucky stars if they got him. So yeah,
really?
I think they're going to try. I think they're really going to try to sign him and make a big push this weekend.
Okay.
So we'll see. I also went into the clarity scarf, and I saw Aaron Rodgers' future when I was in my own sensory deprivation situation that happened in the break an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I saw Aaron Rodgers landing with Miami Dolphins.
You think it'll happen?
Well, if the clarity scarf is worth anything, then it will happen. Thank you. That's what it felt like in there. It was like nice and warm, cuddly.
I think it's interesting the timing on Aaron Rodgers.
What about it?
So, all these teams, how long do they have to wait?
Well, for Carr, you can sign him immediately.
Yeah, for Rodgers. So, for everyone says the Raiders now, are they going to wait around?
Yeah, you start getting anxious, start getting antsy. No, here's the thing about the Raiders. Is it just smarter for the Raiders to draft somebody?
I don't think they think like that right now because of all the veterans there. And also, I don't think this is a great quarterback class. Why not do Aaron Rodgers for 1 or 2 years, and then if it doesn't work, totally tank, and then go in for your quarterback? What are they, number 9 now?
Yeah, 7.
7? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get such a no-brainer. I'm all about the process. I want to just try this, then tank. I mean, honestly, we have Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
You can't bring in a rookie. We've been talking about this for weeks, but you have to admit there's a reality problem of having all these old stars in Vegas.
No, I get it. The team looks like it's built to win right now, but what's Aaron Rodgers going to look like first year with Josh McDaniels' system? Is it actually going to fit? You know,
I don't know.
I just feel like people who seem to know things keep saying Rodgers and McDaniels doesn't seem like a fit. Although there was a report out today that McDaniels has long been a fan of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't?
Well, Jeff Darlington said that McDaniels thinks he can run his offense with anybody, but he said nobody could run it like Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, and honestly, that makes you think that Baby likes him as much as he likes Brady. I don't know. It seems like a love affair there. I guess the question falls on Rodgers then.
What does he want to do?
What does he want to do? There's a lot of reasons not to like Vegas. They haven't won in a long time.
The division's hard.
Division's brutal.
Yeah, but that's so is the AFC East.
Yeah, but not as. I think it's a little harder to be under Mahomes. Not a little bit. I guess Josh Allen.
And just having to go. I mean, I know Rodgers played in cold weather, but those games in Buffalo, Foxborough, like Belichick's always got something up his sleeve. How about this?
Yeah.
Did you see this report that came out with our buddy Ty Dunn? He did a podcast with Bob McGinn, who's covered the Packers for decades, okay? For decades. He told Ty that the Packers are, quote, done with Rodgers. He said discussions with someone who's had firsthand knowledge, he's not coming back. I mean, they're disgusted with him, and they're done with him, and they're moving on. Disgusted with Aaron Rodgers was how he put it. Someone who's covered the Packers for decades. Are you surprised by that? That's hard language.
Well, Bob McGinn kind of talks like that. He's very blunt.
I don't really know Bob McGinn very well.
McGinn? Yeah, his draft guide's amazing. But I'm not shocked by this. It does feel like the Packers are done because it's multiple reports. Who else had it? Schefter or somebody?
But disgusted? Like, what's disgusting about it?
Disgusted is too strong. I think Bob McGinn, as I said, I think is kind of blunt. Yeah, I think they're tired of course they're tired of this. Wouldn't you be?
Well, they're the ones who gave him the $60 million. So I think it takes two to tango here.
Yeah, I think they regret that.
Well, I don't know.
I think they regret the structure of the deal because it really felt like a 2-year marriage. It fell apart quicker than they would have thought.
Man, imagine if they just hadn't drafted Jordan Love. How would things be different?
Yeah.
I don't know. Rodgers might have still won the 2 MVPs. I have no idea if that really put a super chip on his shoulder or if he was destined to do this anyway.
I like Jordan Love.
Disrespectful to say he wouldn't have done it. But Jordan Love definitely made Rodgers feel a certain type of way about the Packers.
Big time. But he won 2 MVPs after that. I like Jordan Love. I'd like to see how that works next year.
Surprised, disgusted with him. That to me just feels like it's, that doesn't compute with even how Rodgers is talking about this. Every time he's on McAfee, he's not saying, oh my gosh, this is broken down. We have such a terrible relationship. He keeps talking about how respectful all of this is. They've been having great conversations. They're disgusted with him.
He did say all that stuff at the golf tournament about other teams. I don't think that sat well. The Pro-Am, Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
He kept talking about other teams. That could not have sat well with the Packers.
Right. When he's talking about the galleries, we're saying Raiders and stuff like that.
By the way, I have some interesting odds for you.
Oh, go ahead.
This is, according to oddschecker.com, these are Vegas odds on the next Jets quarterback. Now, this must be before the Derek Carr report because it has plus 140 for Rodgers, plus 325 for Carr, and plus 350 for Lamar Jackson.
Man, this Lamar thing, I think if you think you're really going to pry Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore, I just wouldn't believe it. I don't think they're ready to move on from him. I think he's definitely getting franchise tagged, and I think he's going to play this year either on the tag or with an extension.
Interesting.
Yeah, you think he's getting traded?
I think it's hard to read that situation. He's a mystery. I think he's even a mystery to his own team. In part because he doesn't have an agent, so he doesn't communicate. There's no agent to leak anything. It's just his mom. By the way, Carr odds have the Jets high up, the Panthers, and the Saints. Pretty much a 3-way tie, again, before this visit.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. We know the Panthers are good. The Panthers are definitely going to at least look at Derek Carr tape. Wouldn't you do that if you were them?
Absolutely. But I think they might end up just drafting a quarterback. But you don't want to fall in love if this draft class just isn't there. Like, I don't know. I've fallen in love with one prospect so far.
Who's that?
Anthony Richardson.
Florida quarterback?
The Florida quarterback. And it's not because he's ready to go right now. He's definitely more of a project. But that's exactly what people said about Josh Allen. They thought he was going to be more of a project. And if I'm going to have a quarterback, like in this day and age where I really want the dual threat, I want them to be able to run the ball, and obviously they need to have a great arm, I want a big guy. Like, hasn't the NFL shown us, and even if you're big, you can get hurt. I get that. But no disrespect to Bryce Young, but I want a bigger dude. I want is Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen. I want someone who can really take some hits.
If you draft him, though, when is he playing? And if he's not playing immediately, then who's your quarterback?
I have a bridge quarterback. I think if I was a GM, the perfect way I would set this up is what the Chiefs did with Mahomes. I don't know if they planned it this way, but you had Alex Smith, who seemed like at least he was a decent enough guy that he mentored Patrick Mahomes, didn't give him the cold shoulder, or, try to be a jerk to him. And then you have that veteran guy teaches the next guy for one season, and then you put the second-year guy in. That's how I would do it.
Well, you have, but they don't. No one has an Alex Smith, a Pro Bowl quarterback, in their building.
Well, I try to get somebody who at least I know could hold the fort, like an Andy. I don't know if Andy Dalton is like this, but I feel he would be kind of nice. He would, Justin Fields was just talking on that Part of My Take podcast and thanked Andy Dalton profusely for how much he mentored him.
Yeah. By the way, Carolina will also be looking at Justin Fields. Probably they will be kicking the tires on that trade. The one thing about Anthony Richardson and his numbers are just so pedestrian. I mean, Josh Allen's numbers were not good either.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're 4 times what Anthony Richardson did at Florida. I mean, Anthony Richardson really just did not throw a lot of touchdown passes.
I get it. His numbers are not great. But Josh Allen's numbers weren't great, and he was playing at Wyoming. I mean, at least Richardson's playing the SEC.
As I recall, Allen had a good sophomore year, and then his receivers all left, and he had a bad junior year. Same happened to Jordan Love, had a killer sophomore year.
Yeah.
But Anthony Richardson just has never been consistent as a passer. That worries me.
I know, but I think that old feeling of, a guy can never become more accurate on the pro level. I think that Josh Allen has proven that that's just not right. I used to think that too. I used to think guys, you can't get to the NFL and you can't become more accurate. Well, if you work your ass off, you can. And it turns out if you have this great work ethic, you can get a lot better. And then your team has to help you out with great receivers.
Yeah, I'm still cautious here. Okay, Josh Allen was 56% at Wyoming. Now he was... Okay, so, and Anthony Richardson, I do not know what he is, probably about the same thing. So that's a good point. Maybe they're better off now.
And as opposed to Bryce Young, who is just like, it's great. He's going to put on all 15 pounds before the combine, and I'm sure it's going to look a lot better, on paper. But you're asking me, like, I'm going to put him out there, and, he got creamed in some of the hits he just took against Georgia.
So Anthony Richardson's 54% on his career.
And Allen was 56?
And Allen was 56, yes.
Yeah, I mean, same.
But then again, you don't want to draft Jake Locker, so that's always the big concern.
I know.
Who is close to 50 in college.
I remember going to Seattle to do an interview with him. That feels like a different lifetime ago.
All that being said, too, by the way, is there a possibility, just let me put this out there, that teams are not going to draft any of these quarterbacks because they feel a little burned by some of the quarterbacks who've gone high lately?
It's possible.
They might look at the Jets. They might look at the Niners and say, you know what? We're not going to go 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's possible. And you do have guys who are on the market who are fine. Carr is good to me. Carr is a good quarterback to me. Rodgers would obviously be the prize. Lamar would be a prize. But, you even have a little bit more of a middle class.
I think
Jimmy G's out there.
There's so much demand for quarterbacks, say Anthony Richardson. But last year was so confusing because we had 4 guys in the first round in every mock draft.
Yeah, and then one of them went.
One of them went at 20.
I know.
What is happening? But this year, McShay has 4 quarterbacks in his top 10, including Anthony Richardson. That feels like a lot to me.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so Derek Carr is meeting with the Jets. What do you think the Jets are doing with Derek Carr?
I don't know. They can't do
dinner? Anything. You can't take him to New York City because I don't think he liked that.
So it's going to be hard to compete food-wise for New Orleans. New Orleans probably destroyed the food front. I don't know what you live near there. Is there anything to eat out in suburban New Jersey?
I was just actually thinking. So I live about 15 minutes from Florham Park, where the Jets facility is, and I bet I think I could narrow it down to about 5 places. I think they might go.
Oof.
There's not much out there. People think New Jersey, and you think Newark or The Sopranos or something. It's not like Florham Park is just farms.
Can you imagine
the burbs?
Can you imagine the meal that he ate in New Orleans?
I bet it was good. See, that's why I couldn't play in New Orleans.
Oh, I know.
I look like
you'd be an offensive lineman by the time it ended.
I was going to say Jared Lorenzen, but I feel bad as saying that. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, I feel bad about calling you an offensive lineman. Sorry.
It's okay. That's what I would look like.
I think I would look like an offensive lineman, and I do not look like one now.
No.
Yeah, that's another reason to go to New Orleans. I mean, everybody loves to eat in New Orleans.
I know, but I think you get party too. I mean, it's a credit to these guys that they keep their weight down.
Derek Carr is not partying.
No, I don't think so. He seems like a pretty straight and narrow dude.
You think so? Did you see that long speech he gave to the church in Vegas?
I did not.
Oh, he's full-on preacher.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how those qualities would translate well to quarterbacking. You got to communicate with everybody. You got to get buy-in. You got to make sure everyone believes. You got to make sure everyone's staying positive.
And those are not exactly what you think of as New York City qualities.
When you think of the Jets. Buy-in, positivity, everyone believing.
I mean, the ultimate...
Please.
Yeah,
surely you jest.
I think the ultimate Jets quarterback of all time is Joe Namath. Brash like the city.
Broadway mink coats.
Yeah, I have trouble seeing Derek Carr do that. But then again, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for the Jets.
Yeah, it hasn't been whatever they've been trying.
Chad Pennington had a brief window before he got hurt.
Yeah, right. And he went to Marshall, right? He was Pennington?
Pennington is similar to Carr, so that worked. Yeah, Maggie, if Carr does sign, maybe you have him and his family over. They seem lovely.
Would they like to come over to my house?
You can invite David over. I know how you feel about him.
Hey, that was private. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We have update for you on the coaching front. We'll get to that in just a minute. Also, the advice duck back to answer your questions, conundrums, and quacks. Let me know. What What advice do you need from the advice duck? That will happen in just a moment, and this coaching news. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, CBS Sports Radio YouTube channel, you will see there is a giant yellow bird next to me, and that means one thing. It's Friday. It's Advice Duck time. Advice Duck, how you doing?
Feeling very wise, extra wise today after doing the clarity scarf and now the duck costume. This is like as good as it gets for me. this is as wise as I will ever be.
The most focused Maggie Gray you will ever get.
Yeah.
Something happens to you. You put that Advice Duck costume on, and you're just a completely different person. You're calm, all-seeing, wise. So what do we got this week? Anything good come in the inbox?
Okay, so this came to us at maggieandperloff@gmail.com, and it's from a guy named Jim who asked that I withhold his last name, so I will respect your wishes there, who said, my kids are getting older. I've got a son who's about to turn 12, and I have a daughter who's about 10 and a half. Perloff, close to your kid's age, actually. So we're now having trouble when we're trying to watch movies. My kids are constantly asking me to watch movies that are rated PG-13 or rated R, and I'm trying to stop them from seeing anything more explicit than what they're going to find on YouTube and TikTok and the normal things they have in their day.
Gotcha.
Advice Duck, is it okay to show my 12-year-old and 10-and-a-half-year-old an R-rated movie?
Can I add a little addendum? Also, scary movies. And I want to hear your answer on that one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say, listen, I have a 3-and-a-half-year-old, so I'm not here yet. I think you got to read your kid because it's impossible for me to answer. Like, let's look at some of the movies that are out right now. Cocaine Bear. Is that going to do any real damage to a 12-year-old? They're not going to understand it. They're going to, they might understand, all right, this is a drug that makes you, sped up or whatever. But I don't think that's going to do any real damage as opposed to...
What about Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey?
Yeah, that one is screwed.
I think I probably would not let my 12-year-old watch that, even though it's obviously Winnie the Pooh. Like Knock at the Cabin, I'm not going to show to a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old because I think it might freak them out.
So that sounds good advice, Duck, but the reality of having a 12-year-old is all they watch is horror films, and it's not them that you have to worry about. I can't go see those movies as a parent. My daughter, they've all seen it. It is from 8 on, they've all seen it. So you will fall behind your classmates if you haven't watched. We were in a plane recently, and my daughter, the 12-year-old, watched Smile. And just,
oh my goodness!
Just looking over her shoulder freaked me out so bad, but she loved it and enjoyed it and has watched all those movies.
Okay, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, the first time I ever saw like Halloween or something. Yeah, I don't think I was 12 though. I think I was a little older.
I think the kids are doing horror. Horror is so wildly popular now. Cocaine Bear might be a different animal.
I think literally. I think Cocaine Bear probably. I don't know. Jim didn't say which movie they were going to see. I would think Cocaine Bear is not going to be that bad. It's probably got an R rating because it might be a little gory, but I don't think it's going to do lasting permanent damage. Like I saw the movie Gremlins too young, permanent damage.
How young? Gremlins
I think it was like 10.
Have you seen it again lately?
No, I won't ever see it again. I was scared of Jurassic Park. It came out when I was like 9.
Oh, that's scary. But I think adult Maggie could handle Gremlins. Gremlins?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I
adult Maggie can't handle much. But this is Advice Duck Maggie. So I'm going to say no, hold off, although Perloff, you gave me something to think about. They might fall behind their peers, and I don't want them to be subjected to scorn. I'm going to cop out. I'm going to have to say know your kid. Do you think your kid's going to be scared? It's a hard one for me to answer for another parent. I'm going to say...
that's an individual choice.
I know. I'm going to say hold off. You'll be happy you held off. Yep. If your kid is easily scared, don't let them go see Knock in the Cabin.
Totally. Instead, just keep them at home. Give them 14 hours a day of screen time, as we all do.
Just whatever YouTube's going to feed to them. I'm sure
play Call of Duty. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Grand Theft Auto
Good point.
is my advice to you.
Yeah, I don't get it. Are you guys over there on the other side of the glass, horror movie guys? Have you seen Smile or It or any of those?
No, I'm very anti-horror movie.
Yeah, I'm not really into them, but I don't get like super scared by them, but I'm just not my genre of movie.
Yeah, some people love it.
What's the deal with the Winnie the Pooh slasher movie? Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess the copyright or whatever, the trademark for Winnie the Pooh ran out, so now anyone can make movies or anything with
It's a public domain now.
Yeah, so they made a movie about him being a slasher. And they also made a couple years ago Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I saw that one.
So there are these movies that are bizarre and weird like that have made a good amount of money in the box office.
But that one wasn't scary.
That was Hugh Jackman, wasn't it? Vampire Hunter?
I think so, yeah.
That wasn't really scary. Unlike Winnie the Pooh, the masked killer. That's got a lot of publicity, but I heard it was not a very good movie.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Are you shocked by that? Did you think it was going to be a good movie? Do you think Cocaine Bear is going to be a good movie?
No.
I think that has a chance.
No Oscars in the future for those movies?
And it would be a snub.
I love my man M. Night Shyamalan, but I'm not hearing...
You have to love him. He's from Philly, right?
Yeah, I'm not hearing wonderful things about Knock at the Cabin Door. I can't watch that. It's about a guy who has to kill his kid or something. No. I just let the whole world end.
Perloff only watches TV shows that are post-apocalyptic.
That's the only kind of TV show.
And then tells me how scary they are. Like, why do you keep watching them then? You watched the one that was based out of Chicago. Now you're watching Last of Us.
Oh, Station 11 was amazing. Last of Us is amazing, but so sad. I don't think they make any shows that are pre-apocalypse now. That's pretty much... Walking Dead is the most popular show on cable history.
Right.
I did do some Walking Dead. It's pretty good, but you're not a zombie person.
Nah. Jerry in the chat sent this one a little bit late. Advice, Doug, should I go into a dark room retreat and hide from my wife for 3 days, or man up and do the chores all weekend? I think you're going to know my answer to that one.
That sounds like a little Al Bundy-ish, that question.
A little bit.
Yeah. Like, hey, take my wife. Please take her. Yeah. Okay.
That's Henny Youngman. We're doing Catskills humor now. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. What's the movie you saw too young? Do you have one?
No, I don't like horror movies, so I never saw any of those.
Nothing scarred you as a kid?
No, I mean, listen, when you're a young boy of a certain age, you really you're looking for a certain thing in the movies. You're looking
Skinamax.
You're looking for boobs. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Horror movies usually deliver on that. Right before she gets killed, usually they show you the full. Yeah.
No. But, definitely. And if you look back at those early 80s comedies that were so influential, there's so many gratuitous nudity shots that make no sense whatsoever, except to pull in the 13-year-old boy crowd.
Yes. Wasn't there that website, or was that
it was a movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin. They create a movie.
A database of when the nudity is.
Take a movie like Caddyshack or Stripes. There'll be one random shower scene that you're not quite sure why it's there.
I think the most funny random shot movie that has that shot is Airplane.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden everyone's freaking out, and then it's just the woman who's topless. Connor has no idea what we're talking about. He's way too young for that. You don't know Airplane
the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, no idea.
Naked
Airplane
Gun?
the movie.
I've heard of it before.
Naked Gun? Have you seen Naked Gun the movie with OJ?
No, with OJ? No.
Yeah.
I did know OJ was in that, but I never saw it.
Oh boy.
It's funny.
We have a call with a completely sports-related advice question.
Oh, wow. Let's get to it. Thank you. 855-212-4CBS. The duck costume cuts off my peripheral, so I can't see the call screener. So thank you for the heads up. Jimmy is in Texas listening on 1230. Jimmy, what's up?
Hey, well, it's good to have focused vision. That's all I can say. But I wanted to ask the duck, how come we can't get the officials? I mean, it would be nice to be able to have the officials in front of a microphone for at least 5 minutes after a ball game in case you got some really important questions you'd want to ask about, I don't know, maybe a holding call or whatever. But
you never know.
It's the league that hires these people. Why is the league protecting them so much? That don't seem right, is it?
Jimmy, it's a great question. Thank you. And one the advice duck will happily answer. So what they do is they have the pool reporter, right? So they send one reporter in to talk to the referees. But you're right. They do protect them. They do this in every league. A little more transparency, I think, would help. The NBA started putting out the end of 2-minute report. The NBA referees go over the top on Twitter, apologizing when they miss calls. Stuff like that. I always thought.
But they do have a pool report now, so that's new.
Yeah, they have a pool report now.
Yeah, for NFL, and they never used to have that, so they're moving in that direction.
I think these NFL refs are so media savvy at this point. I don't think it would be a bad thing to put them in front of a press conference. They can handle themselves. They're just going to be citing the rule book. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing with this penalty. At least they have the actual facts that it probably was a hold, technically a hold. So they don't really have to apologize for what happened, in my opinion. And I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah, and listen, James Bradbury really took him off the hook when he said I pulled his jersey. So
well, did you see the NFL films came out of the Super Bowl and everyone's playing the slow-mo or the visual of him pulling his jersey? So there was definitely a jersey pull. But if you're going to slow down any 60-minute football game, there's 40 jersey pulls. So the question is, did it raise to the level of, did you have to call it?
Yeah, I say you absolutely did not have to call it there.
Meaning you, Maggie, or you, the advice duck?
Both. We came to a consensus on this one, me and the advice duck. Other quick referee news, though, after Jimmy brought that up. So the tush push, the idea that you can, do the rugby scrum and then push a guy from behind, like how the Eagles were so successful on all their quarterback sneaks and stuff at the goal line. It doesn't look like that's going to be changing. I think they should change it. That play doesn't seem fair.
So I saw Blandino said they should change it. Did somebody say it's not changing? Because that's the best news I ever heard.
Sean Payton said he's going to run it until it's illegal. So he didn't get a sense that they were going to change it. Blandino's now the head of the XFL, right?
Yeah, but he also works for Fox. He said yesterday he thinks they're going to change it this offseason.
I think they should. It doesn't look legal.
No, it doesn't look legal. It's totally unfair. But it is pro offense, so maybe they'll stick around. I'd be surprised. Sean Payton was saying, if they keep this legal, I'll use it 6 times a game. It is great. It was such a secret weapon for the Eagles.
Not so secret.
I mean, right. It was a huge factor in their success. Makes me nervous as an Eagles fan because if we don't have that next year, that takes another thing away. And it's going to be harder to get back.
You might actually have to run a real play on 4th and 1.
Their whole play calling revolves around getting to 4th and 1. It's bizarre. I love it. I hope. What's wrong with rugby? Rugby's cool.
Yeah, it's not what we're doing here. Thank you so much for the questions for the advice duck. Come back. We've got your Casamigos shot of the day. Don't move. More after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
After winning a second Super Bowl, Eric Bieniemy is ready for a new challenge, and he is leaving KC. Reportedly has agreed to a deal to become the Commanders' new offensive coordinator. Bieniemy had been in Kansas City since Andy Reid got there in 2013 and had been their OC since 2018 and leaves with a pair of Super Bowl rings. The Jets have not hid their interest in possibly signing a veteran quarterback, and with one on the market, they're in pursuit and will reportedly meet with free agent Derek Carr this weekend. He also has met with the Saints. There's a couple of weeks before the new NFL year starts. Aaron Jones and the Packers took care of some business today, reportedly agreeing to a new deal to reduce salary. Jones will make $11 million this year, with 8 of it coming in a signing bonus. The NBA's first half concluded last night. Tonight is the start of All-Star Weekend. In the NHL tonight, 5 games on the schedule, including the league's hottest team. The Rangers go for their 7th straight in Edmonton after scoring 6 goals in each of the last 3. And the Western Conference leading Dallas Stars are in Minnesota after back-to-back losses. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Today's guest, you can now call a Pro Football Hall of Famer. That's right, DeMarcus Ware joins the Zach Gelb Show, and it all gets started at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Let's waste no time. Let's get to our Casamigos shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. So our shot of the day from today's show comes from when I tried to channel my inner Aaron Rodgers and go into a sensory deprivation scarf I tied around my head for 5 minutes, and you guys tried to prank me.
Welcome back to the Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show.
Maggie Gray has been in a darkness deprivation situation for 5 minutes, and we were trying to fool her by going longer than 5 minutes, so I'm on the other side of the glass, but it did not work.
I just freaked out.
She wimped out and pulled off her scarf.
I totally am disoriented because I heard somebody come into the studio, and I thought, okay, it's Perloff. It's time to do the show again. And I was like, all right, Perloff, is it time? And there was no answer. It's like, is it time? Is the show starting? No answer. And then the door opens and shuts again. It's like, what's going on? Wait a minute.
So our whole plan was to try and go a minute or two longer by me being on the other side of the glass. Just to see. How'd you know that we were back? Or you just panicked?
It was just the door opening and shutting. That's it. I would have never known. Man, do I need a Casamigos after this? I need something to take the edge off because that really did freak me out. I was talking to, I thought was Perloff. It turned out it was Stu who was in here filming me. And now you can see, you post the video at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter.
Wait, what did you say to Stu? You were supposed to be in total darkness.
Well, I heard the door open and I was like, Perloff? Like nothing.
But why
Is
would
the
you
show
say
starting
that?
again?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you weren't supposed to say anything.
So did you secretly assume that I would not tell you when the show was starting?
I just assumed once the 5 minutes is over, you were going to come in and be like, okay, 5 minutes is up, time to go back on the air, and then nothing happened, except for someone entered the studio and then
But
left
that was at about 4:15, by the way.
I had no idea what time it was.
Yeah. So you technically broke your darkness.
Well, I could sense that we must have been coming to the end. I have a general idea of how long 5 minutes is.
Stu, what time were you in there?
Yeah, it was like a minute left in the break. So around, like Perloff said, 4:15-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you panicked after 4 minutes.
Totally. Yes.
I'm actually impressed you got that far. I think you did a great job.
Well, thank you. And I believe it provided me the type of clarity that even Aaron Rodgers would be jealous of because I think I know where he's going to play in 2023. I think he's going to play for the Miami Dolphins. It came to me in a vision as I was wearing the clarity scarf. So there you go. Rodgers to Miami.
There we go. And
if it comes true, then the clarity scarf is
fire.
It's going to be a thing.
I think you're going to have to wear it every day.
I probably
that
will.
Aaron Rodgers is playing. If Derek Carr goes to the Jets, you might want to wear that clarity scarf halfway through the season just to watch the Jets football.
Yeah, it might.
It might be ugly.
It might be
I like
little
Derek
frigid.
Carr. No, I just think that I'm not as excited about that as you are.
I am excited if I'm a Jets fan who just wants to make the playoffs because that's what I think. Super Bowl would be awesome. Everyone wants to win a Super Bowl, of course. But you're starting where the Jets are starting. You want to make the playoffs first.
Yeah.
And Derek Carr can help you get there.
Set reasonable goals.
I think so. Now you also have the weekend coming up. Casamigos, you guys know that we are so proud to have them as one of our partners here on the show. So if you're going to have some fun, chill out this weekend, do it responsibly. Go to Casamigos.com. They've got all the cocktails right there. Light margarita. That's it for me all the time.
There you go.
Okay, we've got to get to our Ask the Pros question of the day, Perloff, which you have a special submission.
Yes, I sent this in. Okay.
You are the pro, and you cut the line.
Yeah, it's time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question is from Andrew in Brooklyn. So, who the heck is Eric Bieniemy going to play at quarterback in Washington?
Yeah.
That's my wording. Don't forget, you can submit a question by going to cbssportsradio.com/askthepros or tweeting it at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag #AskThePros. So I actually just put this out there on Twitter and got some interesting responses, Maggie, on who they should put in at quarterback. Now,
so obviously Eric Bieniemy took the offensive coordinator job with the Commanders today.
And a lot of people are wondering, is this a good idea? I think it all depends who he gets a quarterback. Yeah. Sam Howell is number one on the depth chart right now. Ron Rivera told us that last week.
Yeah, right.
People are not buying that. No one in the Twitter mentions is buying that. A lot of people say trade for Patrick Mahomes. Quote, Ricky, seems doable. I don't think so.
Yeah.
2 people said Jackson Mahomes. So there's a lot of Mahomes. How about this one? From Dodger Time, try a lowball trade for Trey Lance.
Well, then who's playing quarterback for the 49ers? Purdy? Are we sure it's Purdy?
I don't know, but it doesn't feel like they want Trey Lance.
But are you going to really give up on Lance yet? He's played in 4 games. He's got hurt in 2 of them.
Let's focus on Washington. From Frank's burner, how about Jameis Winston? That is interesting.
But you got Carson Wentz already there.
Well,
do you need Jameis?
There's a few Wentzes now. They could cut Carson Wentz and save $26 million on their cap.
Oh, that sounds nice, actually.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
That sounds pretty good.
So, Jameis, you have to admit, that's a little intriguing. Eric Bieniemy, Jameis Winston, and those receivers.
Okay, can I ask a question? And this is no disrespect to your buddy Andy Dalton. I know you guys are close. Why couldn't Jameis Winston beat him out last year when he was healthy again?
I mean, Dalton's numbers, that Andy was pretty good last year. He had the second highest rating of his career. He was just really efficient, sharing with Taysom Hill.
But like, if Jameis is still a starter, if he's still starter caliber in this league, like, no offense to Andy. Andy is a starter, but probably a little bit more of a backup now in his career. Like, if Jameis still has a lot left in the tank, why wasn't he starting those games?
I don't know what happened last year.
Okay.
He was really bad. So in how many games did he play? He played 4 games, had 4 touchdowns and 5 picks.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah, and his rating was a career low. I mean, Dennis Allen's a terrible coach.
Yeah, I think Jameis might just be over. Is that possible?
See, I think
he's not a good backup because he turns the ball over too much. That's not what you wanted a backup quarterback.
He's 29, though, and you pair him with Eric Bieniemy and that kind of receiver, I think he's played well when he's had the right coaches. It's not. You have to admit, it's not the worst thing. Yeah. There's a couple other. There are a lot of people who say Wentz. There actually are a couple people who from Washington who really like Howell. They think that he is legit. Now, Howell was supposed to be a first-round pick. Keep that in mind. Like, I don't know why he fell all the way to the 5th round. He had a tough junior year or senior year. And then there's a Shane Buechele in here. Now, Shane Buechele is a Kansas City Chiefs preseason superstar out of SMU. I don't think that's the answer, but Bieniemy is going to bring some backup from Kansas City, maybe get Henny out of retirement. Isn't that what a lot of guys do? You go to a new job and you just bring a Josh McCown type.
Yes.
There's got to be that guy out there for Eric Bieniemy.
You need someone to spread the gospel for you in the locker room. I remember because Bart Scott always told me that he was that guy for Rex Ryan. So Jets overpaid, even Bartimus said, like, they overpaid him because they knew that they were both coming from Baltimore together, and he could sort of be the locker room whisperer for Rex.
Right. Now, I think, though, it's a little different because Ron Rivera is the head coach, so maybe you don't need that. But it sure seems like to get a guy, also to teach the young guys how to run that particular West Coast offense seems like a good idea. The one thing I did think Wentz was connected, of course, to Doug Peterson, who is an Andy Reid guy, like Eric Bieniemy.
I think Wentz is done. Jameis is done.
But sometimes these guys come back.
Yeah, listen, Geno came back.
Came back.
But Geno didn't have the same type of game as Jameis Winston.
Jameis was way better.
No, his arm was better, but Geno was not the turnover machine that Jameis was.
Jameis fixed that completely with Sean Payton. He didn't turn the ball over like that at all with Peyton. Oh, by the way, how about that? Maybe they'll send him over to Denver to back up Russ. Can I get you? What can I do to get you excited? What can I do to put you into the Jameis Winston camp
today? You sound like a used car salesman. What do I have to do to get you into this Honda Accord today?
So we've done a 3-hour show. Have I convinced you at all that Eric Bieniemy to Washington makes any sense?
It's not that it doesn't make sense. I don't know if he's going to get out of it what he thinks he's going to get out of it. And I hope I'm wrong about that, but you've had teams who have had plenty of opportunities to bring him in as a head coach and hire him. You've had other guys from Andy Reid's staff who have gotten hired when they haven't been calling plays, like Nagy. I don't know what it is, and I feel bad, quite frankly, for Bieniemy that he has to go to a place like Washington and prove that he can turn them around when nobody's been able to turn them around. It's basically like he's got to work miracles to try to get a legit head coaching job. It's wild to me.
That's not a miracle. He's just going to switch one team and try something different.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you're going from 2 Super Bowl rings and the best quarterback in the league to, nobody believes that the Washington Commanders are, a well-run franchise.
Yes, but I don't think, they
it
definitely
doesn't scream winner.
Yeah, but they made the playoffs 2 years ago. They definitely have talent. They've been
made
drafted.
The playoffs when the rest of the NFC East. It was somebody had to make it.
Yeah, but we know there's a bit of a sleeping giant with that defense. If they ever stayed healthy and on the field, they could be okay. If Eric Bieniemy is such a good offensive coach, he could do something with his talent.
I know, but it's
and I think he could be.
He might. I think he is a talented offensive coach, but you're going to a place where you got no quarterback. It's a big ass.
See, I see it as an opportunity. What you see as a crisis, I see it as an opportunity. He's not stuck with a bad quarterback.
Well, unless they start Wentz.
Well, I don't think Wentz is going to be there. He seems like almost certainly a cap casualty.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah.
But listen, best of luck to him. Like, you'll have another. That's another tough team in the division to play against your Eagles.
Yeah, they don't scare me.
After all that pumping up Eric Bieniemy, they're like, the defense and the playmakers, but they don't scare you.
If Eric Bieniemy goes 8-9 and they have a top 20 offense, and I think he is well on his way to a head coaching job.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go 9-8. Yeah, this is going to help him. He's going to do good things here, and we're going to say, oh, now you got to hire him.
Do you think they're going to sell the team? Do you remember that?
Yeah, by the owners'
news
meeting.
that came out is going to sell by the owners' meeting. Meanwhile, the owners' meeting is in 3 weeks.
But none of
sell
that.
$7 billion business or whatever in 3 weeks.
I understand the importance of ownership, but they already have a roster that's pretty set. They've been drafting guys, a lot of first-round picks on that roster. I don't think Bieniemy should worry about that. Just run that Kansas City offense, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, easy as pie, right?
Yeah,
just be more like the Chiefs.
Just have some of that.
Duh.
I mean, look at
anyone can coach in this league.
It wasn't Patrick Mahomes, and it wasn't the receiver talent that got those two guys open on the wide open touchdowns. It was pre-snap movement that completely fooled the Eagles.
You're right.
So if he brings some of that, he'll help whoever's at quarterback.
Yeah, it worked so well for Nagy when he went to Chicago.
So that's not a Nagy specialty. That is somebody else, because they didn't have that when Nagy was there.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't it didn't feel that creative.
No.
When Nagy was in Chicago.
I'm very hopeful for Bieniemy. You like him, right? So we're rooting for Washington a little bit.
We're rooting for Eric Bieniemy and Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
And the
oh, yeah, you hate the owner. But he's going to be gone.
The owner's gross.
He'll be gone.
How about RPC says Washington should bring Fitzmagic out of retirement?
I like that. He's been there already, but...
Yeah. Remember, there was the rumor that he got hurt in an amusement park, right?
My man Case Keenum got 8 games there before they put in Dwayne Haskins and ended up going like 5-12.
Oh man!
Yeah, Washington's
NFL
not
offseason,
easy.
catch the fever.
Yeah, it's not the highest end choices here, Meg. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I don't know what Bieniemy is stepping into here. It's going to be a tough one. Thank you so much to Stu Kovacs. Thank you to Connor Green. Thank you to everyone who called in, to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat. What a great week we had. Really, really appreciate all of you. We will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend.
You're in a 5-minute break.